What is success for you?
Success is going to bed every night, feeling good about what I accomplished and what I did.
Person has to make just a choice. What price would you rather pay? Either one's, they're both going to be hard decisions.
Something.
This is like, dude, it is hard being poor. It is hard being poor.
You make an investment, you might even get clients out of that.
Yeah. Like high-end people have like added me on LinkedIn, try to reach out. Like,
they're gonna say, I don't want this. After that, they're gonna feel it. They're gonna know like, this course is gonna change my life. It's not just a course, it's a masterclass. Especially if I trip you.
Oh, dude, yeah, that would be great. Then a run turns into a fight, okay?
So I'm sitting here today with Michael Fied. And I said that right?
You said that right.
Michael Fied.
So basically, if I married a girl named Tara, her name would be Terrified. I know.
Lakeland, Florida. We've known each other since 2000.
Over 10 years.
That's been over 10 years,
over
for
10
sure.
years, yeah.
For a long time. But this is actually the first time meeting in person.
Yeah.
Sitting in the same room. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy, man. The first thing you said when you saw me was, wow, I thought you would be taller.
Did you think I'd be shorter?
No, I knew. Like, listen, we've talked a lot, right? Like,
yeah,
especially
you knew I had that BDE.
We've talked a lot, man. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so it's crazy, man. Like the story of how we met and kind of the entrepreneurial journey that we're both on, and the things you've accomplished over the years, and my kind of time out from society in the middle of all that. So currently, you now have a huge team all over the world, and you're basically building the definitive name in web development, webdev.com.
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
Alrighty. So I've been in the space for 14 years now, and digital marketing space, and started with my ex-partner, where we started working with lawyers. And, at that point, money was good, and I really had to figure out, what was I looking for in business? Why was I doing this? And I realized that I didn't want to work with lawyers, right? And so first thing was niching down. And people, we joke about this all the time. Okay, find your niche.
Why didn't you want to work with lawyers? Is it because of what the Bible says about them?
No, it's just, they're a little uptight. Right? It's a little uptight, and I'm definitely not an uptight person. Like, I joke a lot. Like, my ideal client now is a roofer, right? Dude, roofers are awesome, man. Awesome people. And the chemistry works out really, really well. But been in the space, so I made my first dollar when I was on an AdSense site when I was 14 years old. And so with websites, I've always known that, okay, wow, websites are going to do what electricity did for the world. And it's going to change everything. It's going to change the way how we communicate, how we interact, how we engage, how we do business. And, at that point, obviously it's already been done, right, by Facebook and then by Google and into a massive scale. But I knew I always wanted to be, involved in it. And I wanted to do something bigger and better. And so me and everybody on my team, we believe that there's always a better way of doing something. There's always a better way of doing something. And so started making money at a young age. Started doing all this digital marketing for lawyers and web development design, conversion optimization. We're running all these over $1 million a month in campaigns and a bunch of other stuff, and Google ads, you name it. And from there, I got to a point in my life where I wasn't happy with the man I was becoming, right? I was chasing the dollar, right, too much, and I was losing focus on what was important.
So what made you confront that man in the mirror? Like, what really led to that?
What's funny is, I don't think I've ever said this, is that I'm by statue, I'm a relatively small guy, 5'7" in terms of the U.S. And, I was a troublemaker, had lots of problems and issues growing up. And
that's right, you're a fighter. You like to fight.
Yeah, to fight, yeah. And one problem that I have
we're going to throw axes after this. We could go find a boxing ring.
I'm good with that. Dude, you'd be surprised. You'd be like, this short little guy, I should not have said that. Now he's mad, okay? Yeah, that's funny. That's funny, dude. No, I think with basically, I had to create this persona that if I wanted to be successful, if I wanted people to listen to me, I had to be an a-hole. And I did that for so long that that became who I was. And especially working with lawyers, you have this facade on. And now you have money at a young age and you think you're wise, but you're not. And basically, I had to take a step back and I had to bring it to the Lord. And I just had to work on myself. So I decided to go to this Christian discipleship program in the middle of Kentucky for 9 months. No electronics, no computers, no contact with the outside world. We would literally sleep for 8 hours a day. We would work a physical job 8 hours a day, and we would study the Bible for 8 hours a day. And so it was like crazy. And so I ended up going through this, and during this time, I wasn't supposed to, but I did. I had this little hidden notepad that basically first thing in the morning, and then before I went to bed, I would start creating like business ideas, opportunities, things I would see like, around, the campus that I think, oh wow, this can make money. I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. Oh wow. When I get out of here, I kind of felt like part of me was kind of in prison, and so I started like just jotting all this down, and I had this client who ended up paying me. We built a website for him like 4 years ago, and I remember telling him like it was $99 a month, and we ended up paying like 4 years of hosting, and the hosting expired, so I get this notification, and I say, wow, I got to pay like $180, whatever it was, for 4 years of a shared hosting, and I'm thinking, well, how can I not pay this? And I remember, wait, this has this client on here, and I told him $99 a month, and I never got anything, right? So it was like, I think it was like $4,800 or something.
That he owes you.
Right, that he owes me.
You hadn't been invoicing him.
No, at all. I forgot. Okay.
You know what? I have a couple. I have a couple clients that I've done something for, and I told them it was $99 a month.
Yeah.
One's Juan down in Miami.
Dude.
I did it for him. Built that website, built it like a landing page, and been hosting and everything. And I haven't been
It's
invoicing
cash
him.
flow.
Time to send that invoice.
Well,
Juan, I'm coming for you, man.
I ended up invoicing him for $4,800, and or 48 and some change, and within 2 minutes, I got a notification that he paid the invoice, and that kind of planted the seed for web dev. And I'm like, wow, he paid this like really quick. And so really, when I was at this discipleship program, the entire time I kept like going over this business plan and figuring this out, and here's the thing with web developers, we are the used car salesmen of the world, right? We are, dude. Everybody's been screwed or taken advantage of by a web developer, right? Because like we're so like bombarded by Indians selling us this, anybody can do it type of thing. You got Wix and Squarespace, and there's so many complexities to it. Business owners, they didn't start a business to worry about their website. And what I tell clients all the time, luckily for you, we did. And that's literally what web dev is. So we started, it took me 9 months to close the first 8 clients paying $99 a month. I didn't know really anything.
9 months, 8 clients, $99 a month each. You're making less than $1,000 a month for your first 9 months worth of work.
Yeah, dude.
Not just sales, but also on the fulfillment side.
Exactly. It was so difficult. It was so difficult. So literally when I came out of this discipleship program, I started web dev. And I knew at this point, right, I didn't want partners. I wanted to do this on my own. And I wanted to basically use my team. And websites were really important to me. It's always something I'm really passionate about. It can change people's lives. It can change business lives. It can do a lot. And it's so like under-delivered in the space. So I wanted to basically, what I did is I wrote out every single bottleneck there is in the space. From customer support, from the quality of work, from SEO, from website hosting, maintenance, management, license, copyright images, security, compliance, ADA, you name it, right? So I wrote down every single issue. Wow, if you wanted to do this, you would have to hire this or do this, and then you wouldn't know. Like, the platforms, I just went through it. And I needed this business model that would provide value first, that can deliver a product that would literally change your life that you cannot deny. And if I can do that, and if you can tell your family that we did that, then pay us. So literally to this day, the business model is the exact same. we will literally design and develop your entire website for you from scratch without using templates. An average website for us is 120 hours of design and development. From there, we will build the entire website out for you, right? We handle all the legalities, the copyrights, hosting, compliance, all the features, mobile responsiveness. You handle it. I mean, you have it. We handle it, okay? Our average customer is 55 years old, okay? They have no idea, like what they're doing. So they need a really easy way, somebody that can speak their language. And so in terms of customer support, that was another issue. So now we speak their language. And then we have a really cool philosophy with billables. So any work in the future that web dev does for you, this could be adding landing pages. This could be adding additional pages to your site, building out new subsites for your site, whatever this is. We have a really cool philosophy. If you don't use it or you don't like it, you don't pay for it.
Yep.
Right? So it's simple, right? We always do our work first and we expect payment after.
Yeah, where have you heard that? Like, nobody does that.
Dude. Exactly.
Nobody does that.
And so 9 months to figure that out, dude. It took me 9 months to say, because at first I tried just selling it for fixed rate and then a monthly.
I mean, you're investing in these people.
Yeah,
you're saying, like, you're not just going to take any client, though.
No way.
Because
no way,
there's, like, how can you do that? Because you're putting all this time, you're putting hundreds of hours of work into them before you've even gotten a dollar from them.
Exactly. Thousands of dollars in a lot of cases, yeah.
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 So
crazy,
it's that's a big commitment. So you have to know that, like, who you're working with is on the level.
And, sometimes it doesn't work out. So sometimes people say, hey, we don't like the site, or we decided to go elsewhere, or hey, it took too long, or you know what, just never mind. And the way that I say that is, you know what, that's okay. Like, we just didn't want them as a client anyways. And if they don't see the value in what we've done, because remember, we show you a mock-up, we literally show you the development URL so you can see the progress being worked on in real time. And we're literally, if somebody doesn't respect that time or appreciate that,
that's not the clients you want anyway.
Especially when you give me your word that you say, yes, let's move forward.
Exactly.
Then you know what? That's okay. I'll write it off.
But you know what's interesting, though? Fortune 500 companies and Fortune 100 companies, they recognize the benefit and the value in the type of service and product that you provide. So, when you do that, at least from my perspective, that investment first or that value add first model where you're proving yourself before you ask for anything in exchange, you attract the right type of client.
For sure.
So, there these enterprise level clients and Fortune 500 companies that really recognize the value in having the expertise and the a truly fully managed solution from someone who just gets it. And I think I've worked with tons of web developers over the years, and my experience working with web dev has been unreal. So there's nothing like it. I mean, web developers. First of all, if you're going to take on a project on your own, or if you're going to hire someone local that says they build websites or whatever, okay, they're going to build you a website. Okay, but like, is that website purposeful? Does the words on that website actually convert? Do they actually speak to your target audience? Is that website secure? Is your data ever going to be subject to a data breach? There's all these unknowns, and you're never. And the average person just trying to get a website, like, they're not thinking about all this stuff. They don't have a clue. So they just want their website to be good, and they just want to be able to say, here's my business card, here's my website. But there's so much more to it than that. Like, what good is a website if it doesn't get leads?
Exactly.
What good is a website if it doesn't articulate your product or your service offering? And that's what I've seen. Like, are your copywriters native?
Yes, always.
So
always.
Your copywriters are like Jordan Belfort, man. Like, they're badass.
Yeah. So we source a lot, right? In terms of copyright images, things like that. But all design and development is in house. Philippines and Morocco. Now, in terms of copywriting, that's always done by Native Americans, right? Simple. And I've tried looking elsewhere for this, but it didn't work. Yeah. But dude, it's the web dev space, man. It's this is what I say. Like, what good is a Ferrari if it has no engine, right? And so a lot of websites, they may be Ferraris in its own sense. Here's the reason why I like to use Ferrari as an example. So Ferrari, all the way down to the stitching, is perfection, right? So things that you may or may not even be aware of, but and you can expect that this car drives well, handles good, it has the power, it has the speed, it has the agility, it has the stitching, it has the comfort, it has everything that you need, even though you may not know it, okay? Now, with a website, it's not just like just what you look at, right? And so a lot of people, they say, wow, this looks good, and this is the end of it. Well, our type of clients, they realize that, hey, we don't need something that just looks good. We need something that's going to make us money, right? You're in business to make money. Like, and I literally will have this conversation. So a big part of like why we retain clients so well is we understand their business and we understand how we can grow their business through their website, right? Like, we have to leverage your website for your benefit, right? It's not just a virtual business card. We're not in 2003 anymore. Virtual business cards, they're not a thing.
That's not
okay?
it. Your website is your business.
Ridiculous. Exactly, dude. Exactly. Yeah. So that's one step at a time.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. So, you know, you've acquired webdev.com. You're now officially webdev.com.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't get any more definitive than that.
Yeah. It's so what's funny is 4 years ago is when I made a really lowball offer on that, and they basically just wrote this message, a generic message saying not interested, and so started communications and talks over the next literally 4 years, where starting to negotiate, okay, how can we get this domain? Because the name of the company is WebDev Group, and even when I was selling those 9, and it took 8 months, or it took 9 months to sell those 8, basically, I didn't even have a website, man. Like, think about this, okay? No wonder it took me 9 months. Like, it was ridiculous. But I was still trying to figure out, right, like the security element. Because remember, websites are as complicated as it is, but figuring out the best solution in a scalable way is extremely difficult. And a lot of it, for us to provide the quality of service initially, right, for this type of site and ongoing, to guarantee that and to take all the liability, because that's literally what we do, man. We charge our clients a monthly fee, okay, so they don't have to worry about this, so we do. And what this means is we take all the liability. So to do this, it needs to be done in a very clever way. And so I tried many different things, anything from the copyright images, how can this be the most cost-effective way, all the way from the legalities, right, compliance, GDPR, all these different variables, but I needed a way that was the best way, and it was scalable. And so that's why it took so long, and now over 400 clients later, and it's very, very cool.
It's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, God's good, dude.
Congratulations. That's right,
good.
God is great. Interesting story how we met. You actually acquired a little SEO company that I had started.
Yeah, Dollar SEO Club. Okay, so run off of Dollar Shave Club. And yeah.
It's completely ripped Dollar Shave Club.
I want to say completely.
Pretty much. They had like a viral video, and I'm like, wow. So they made a video that's funny. This dude was a comedian. He made a video that was really funny. It kept my attention. He had this warehouse full of razors or blades, and they didn't know what to do with them. So he got creative with the marketing and Dollar Shave Club, and he made this funny video, and it went viral. And now they're a thing. They got acquired for like $1 billion.
Yeah.
So like immediately, I was like, let's do this. I was already doing SEO for clients.
Right.
So I was like, let's do the same thing, but for SEO. Let's just rip it off and create Dollar SEO Club. SEO starting from $1 per keyword per month. And then we built our own algorithm. Remember like how it like decided how much someone should pay? Yeah, that's crazy.
So I remember I was looking at companies to acquire, and I came upon Dollar SEO Club. So I was already pretty heavily in the SEO space at that point. Mostly like consulting, and then also had, I don't know, maybe a dozen clients or something. And it was, it was pretty young too, but that was, it would be a good acquisition for what we were doing, and we could push it pretty well. And so I was looking for something just more of like a virtual business card that kind of had just a good branding behind it, to kind of like expedite things a little bit. And I came upon this, and I'm thinking, wow, this is like a whole platform where you could literally scale as you go. Like the monetization methods was absolutely brilliant, right? It was a $1 a day for like 30
starting
days.
Starting from $1 per day.
Right, yeah. So some keywords, more competitive the keyword was, the more expensive it was. And it was just genius. And the funnel that you created, the sign up was genius. And it came with all the source code. He developed everything. It was really, really cool. It had a members back end. Customers can log in and literally view all their rankings. Dude, it was genius, man. I loved it. I loved it. It was like a no-brainer. And then I remember connecting with you, and that's kind of how our relationship started growing from there. And we cut a deal on it.
Yeah, so that deal from there, then I took that and I went and started Serpify.
Yeah.
And SERP is an acronym for Search Engine Ranking Positions, for those who don't know. And Serpify was like a crowdsourced traffic exchange where it was black hat SEO, man.
Yeah, basically what people would like
manipulating
search Google to like click on your link to see. Yeah,
all automated. So in the back end, like it's basically you install this app on all of your machines, and all of these machines are searching your keywords, going through the first 100 pages of Google, clicking on a link, clicking on your link, which is an indicator
to
telling Google to rank you higher. And for the first like 3 years, it was working. Like people were actually getting better rankings as a result of it. And then Google caught on, and you can't beat the big G, man.
No, you cannot.
Nah. So then I learned, I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way that the only way to do SEO or to approach SEO is white hat, is organic.
100%.
That said, SEO has evolved a lot over the years. Google had like Penguin and Panda. And they just kept updating their algorithms. And SEOers are like the SEO community, the Warrior Plus and the blackhatworld.com and all of us SEO guys, we're always like studying these algorithm changes and trying to learn like, what can we do to rank? But really, over the years I've learned, you don't even really have to do that so much. No. All you have to do is be authentic.
Exactly. Yeah. So a big element to what we do when we build websites is SEO. So let me explain this to clients. So normally when clients, they hear the word SEO, they're like, oh no, one of these guys again. And so there's like on-site and off-page, right? And so I explain this pretty much. Pretend you're building a house. You walk inside the house, everything inside, all the trim work, the tile, the appliances, everything inside that house, okay, is inside, on-site SEO, okay? Everything outside of that is off-page, okay, SEO. So from there, so I kind of just create a simple analogy, right? Inside and outside, super simple. Now, in terms of a website, everything inside is obviously everything on your website. Everything outside is everything going on outside. This is social media, press releases. This could be third-party citations. This is everything going on that really you're more or less not in control of. Okay. Right. Now, what we control and what we can help is making your inside, top of the line. You're going to have the best appliances. You're going to have the best flooring. It's going to be the most, thought-provoking. It is going to be the most functioning, house, in our website you're going to have. So what Google does is obviously they look at, okay, is this a floor plan? Okay, does 1,000 people, are they using this floor plan, or is this one of a kind? Okay, so this is why using a template is so destructive for your business. This is why Wix, Squarespace, using these generic templates, even with WordPress, right? You can go buy a template for $50, so do like 40,000 other people. So like what you need to do is you need to give Google all these different indicators that you're an authority. So what they do is they start on-site first. Why is this company an authority? Okay, what is the user experience? How much content is on this site in their niche compared to other people? Okay, if the average roofer has 6,500 keyword words on their site, and you come in and you have 42,000 or even 10,000, you're coming out, with a good indicator to Google. Google is smart, right? They're smart. They know what they're doing. So the idea is to give them all these indicators that you're unique, right? That you're consistent, that you have a good infrastructure on your site.
Authoritative too, like
exactly.
Google doesn't. People think that you can just like throw a bunch of words. It's not just about the word count, man. Like Google's AI, like they can actually tell when content is purposeful.
Yeah.
They know when, like they can tell based on like user intent. They can dwell time. They can. Google knows.
Google scrapes content on your site. They read the content, the crawlers, and they're either going to say that this content is, informational content, or this content is commercial content, right? So commercial content is much harder to rank But there is a way that you can obviously write informational content, even for a roofer or for a service-based company,
with
right?
commercial intent.
Exactly, where
without Google seeing it that way.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's more
Like
friendly. You're educating people.
Answering questions that people are asking in the best way possible.
Exactly.
Clearly articulating the answer so people understand that. When people understand that, Google understands that too.
So what we've been able to do with our clients is we've been able to write amazing results, hundreds of phone calls, literally just by focusing on site. Like back in the day,
one of your clients.
Dude, it's amazing. Google looks at all these indicators and they say, here's the trick, okay? What you need to do is you need to prove that you're an authority, okay? You prove you're an authority. Okay, you have to understand this, okay? I'm gonna look at the camera here for a minute, okay? Google wants and needs people to keep using Google or else they are no longer in business, okay? Google needs to know that when somebody searches and uses Google, that they're gonna find their solution, okay? So if you are providing the solution and you can prove that to Google, Google's gonna rank you because people are gonna keep searching for, that's it, okay? Google needs you as much as you need them. Now, so they just need to see you're an authority. Back in the day, the way that they did that is they looked off page. This is why backlinking and all this other crazy stuff people were doing. Now they just want to see you an authority, and they can legitimately do that by looking at your website. So what they do, we have to come into how are you an authority, okay? So number one, you have on-page factors, okay? This is really your web developer, okay? How does he structure the site, the permalinks? How is the header, set up? How is
the foundation?
Exactly. What is the site architecture? That's the best way of saying it. So when that's done, okay, next you want to go in and you want to show consistency, okay? Number one, you have to show consistency. Every industry is different. Now, for example, for most of our clients, what we do is consistency is you want to do consistent blog articles, okay? You're consistently, so what we'll do is, depending on the industry, we'll do a 1,200, 2,500 word weekly blog article, well-researched, SEO optimized, copyright images purchased or required from the customer, or used from the customer. So we write an article, so we show consistency, okay? So it is extremely crucial that you show consistency. The next thing you want to do is you want to prove depth, okay? So you have to have depth to your website, okay? Think of it like a relationship, okay? Think about your website is a relationship with Google, okay? You have to prove depth. And the best way to do this with a website is to have a good hierarchy, a good site infrastructure. This means having frequently asked questions. Don't just think, don't assume anything. Don't assume that the clients or that readers are going to know this. You're not just catering towards users. You are, and they're extremely important. They should be your first focus. But don't assume that they're in your position or they know your space like you do, right? Really don't. So what we do is, even for like, let's use a big septic company, for example, we will come in there and we will literally provide all the local state resources on, their permitting and I mean, literally everything, all the state resources on the local plumbing resources and emergency numbers and whatnot that the city has. So if they, spot an issue or whatever weird thing that we do, we just need to show like, hey, these guys are not just a septic company.
Your authority keeps going up
exactly.
and up and up.
So you keep going down and you keep building this depth, right? So if people are searching for like, installation, if people are searching for, replacement, if people are searching for repairs, you need to have full pages for each one of these. You need to keep being extremely intentional about building depth, okay? Depth is golden, okay? So you have consistency, okay? You have depth, okay? Now you have the on-site of the on-site page of the site, super important. Now, the last one that people always underestimate is relevancy, okay?
It's important.
Now, relevancy. People say, well, my website is my business, it's relevant. No, okay? You need to prove this to Google. You need to prove that you are relevant. There's two types of relevance. It's relevance in your business. It's relevance in your area, okay? Your city, okay? So whatever your target market is. So and this is an ongoing battle. This isn't something that you just do and it's done, okay? So this is why a modern SEO campaign, and we've seen amazing results if we're being intentional about proving consistency, okay, showing depth, and showing what was the last one I just told you? Fuck. Relevancy, okay? You do this, man, dude, and this is even for Contractor Plus, dude. Like, dude, it is a natural, organic way to rank your website on a world where competition, people are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. But if you are consistent, if you have depth, and if you are relevant, you are making money. You are showing Google this is a reason to rank you, this is a reason why I'm an authority, why I'm going to provide the best solution for your users to keep using Google.
Well, it's kind of funny, like not even a year out of the gate with the new website, going by webdev.com, and our DA was what, like, it's super high. Like, it's ridiculous.
What is it at now? Probably like 30 something.
Oh no, it's higher. It's like 48.
Really? Wow, okay.
48.
Cool. Very good.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Forbes article, other stuff, all that just, you know what I mean? So, but starting just on page alone, just like with the depth of the website and the relevancy, like Google immediately recognized it as an authority.
Yeah.
So as long, you know, we don't have to do a whole lot of work. You post a blog post that's, you know, that's somewhat long tail, you're going to rank.
Dude.
So what's up with Spam Burner? Beautiful website.
I need to launch it. And
it's ready.
Too fucking busy. Yeah, it's ready, dude. It's ready. Like, it's good.
Yeah, it's a beautiful website.
Dude. Beautiful platform. Like,
Yeah,
dude, it's
yeah.
amazing.
Even the back end, like the user experience is on point. It's amazing.
I think I need to. I have to figure out the business model. So that's the biggest issue. The original plan of Spider Forms at $14 a month. So basically, the whole purpose of Spam Burner is to use Spider Forms, right? Create this, use the problem, and present the solution. Okay.
Right.
But I need to figure out the unique selling proposition in a stronger way, and I have to figure out the pricing.
For Spam Burner.
For Spam Burner. So the pricing is really tricky. I was originally thinking $14 a month, and that wasn't working. So it doesn't even, the numbers don't work at scale too. Like, I'm just not happy with that. The amount of support and management and shit we got to do for
doesn't
$14
work.
a month, no.
It doesn't work.
So what I'm thinking is,
Dude, price yourself high.
I know.
Price yourself at the high. Almost, it seems you should. According to Alex Hormozy, dude, one of the best books I've read in the last 3. No, I read it probably 4 months ago. One of the best books I've read, though. I've read about a dozen books in the last 4 months. Is $100 Million Offers.
Dude,
$100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozy.
Saeed's reading it now. I finished this like a month ago or 3 weeks ago. I think I even messaged you. You sent it to me, dude. Like,
I told you
to read this, dude.
Dude, you have to read. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't read that book,
like, dude, it was fucking great. Like,
dude, the
I had
fact
to
that
slow it down. Like, but dude, the dude's on fire, man. It's acquisition.com.
acquisitions.com. Yeah. Alex and Layla Hormozy.
Yeah.
They're a power couple. They're crushing it.
They have another one like something leads.
Gym Launch. They started with Gym Launch.
I know.
Now they have a whole portfolio of companies, and all of them are doing millions of dollars. And the reason they're doing millions of dollars is because they price themselves out of the equation. They price themselves so high at a premium price where people see that price tag and they're like, it must be the best. You know, like a Rolls Royce is what, $500,000? Well, the reason the Rolls Royce is it doesn't cost $500,000 to produce a Rolls Royce. Sure, it's meticulously engineered and built by hand. So is a Ford. But you know what I mean? But the Rolls Royce is $500,000 or $500,000 or whatever it is now, because of perceived value, exclusivity. They don't mass produce them. They don't crank out millions of Rolls Royces.
Yeah, this is true.
You know, it's not a Tata Nano, so it's a Rolls fucking Royce. So do you want the Tata Nano or do you want the Rolls Royce? Do you want to make money at scale, at high volume, dealing with all of these problems, or do you want to make money quality?
Well, this is why, like with Spam Burner, there's a huge market for enterprise. Not a huge, but I know enterprises have this issue.
They care about it more. The pain hurts to them more.
Yeah,
it means more to them.
And like a granular change for an enterprise has like both positive and negative huge consequences, right? Like it's massive. So we can come in there and we can say, hey, look, here's your leads at 43%, of all contact form submissions, or website form submissions, okay? 43% is spam, okay? Dude, out of all of our clients, they don't even know this.
Thanks to Pygam bot.
Dude, it's fucking insane, man.
You remember Pygam?
I know.
Yeah, he messed up the internet.
Dude, it's still out there doing shit.
Yeah,
we've been using that, dude. But here's the thing, people don't know where their marketing dollars are going. We can provide that solution, and there's perceived value. You know, the moment at $14, it's like, okay, this is cheap, anybody could do it, type of thing.
Right.
But if I can, what I'm thinking is removing the pricing page, changing it to schedule a demo, and running marketing on that, and then basically the pricing will be kind of subjective based on the user or what their needs are, right? So this is a big company, and I can see the benefit. It's so new, I don't even know how to fucking price it, dude. Like, what type of value and how is it gonna provide value for them to justify the cost? And like, I have to figure that out. But outside of that, timing, dude, I'm so fucking busy. Like,
So what?
So fucking busy.
I know.
Like, fuck.
I know.
4 hours in the day.
I know how it feels. I know exactly how that feels. He's always like, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. And I'm like, dude, I got like 5 other things I gotta do right now. You know what I mean? And I try to use the Eisenhower matrix to like decide what I'm gonna do now. How does that work?
Well, like, how is it working for you? Like,
I mean, it's helped, but it helps. But the thing is like in application, in the moment when things are hitting you constantly, it's hard to like, it's hard to throw that quadrant up and be like, this belongs here, this belongs there. You know, you almost need like a whiteboard like right in front of you with that quadrant permanently on it. And as soon as stuff hits your desk, you like write it there. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's crazy.
I gotta figure that.
I should have an app, like an AI Eisenhower AI. It's like as stuff comes, it just like automatically puts it on the quadrant and you sort it.
It's so dynamic. Like business is so dynamic.
It's unpredictable. There's a lot that happens on the day-to-day that's not on the schedule. It's not accounted for. I try to like my calendar is meticulously planned out. Everything is planned out. But the thing is like still there's so much that happens that
dude, like people, this SEO game, people think it's this like super complicated thing. But Google really needs to be confident that you are the solution that people are looking for.
That is true.
And if you can build this confidence to Google, they're gonna reward you. Like,
that said, though, the riches are still in the niches.
Oh, absolutely.
So the more like long tail you can get,
I mean, you still have to be like. This is why having an SEO expert, right, somebody who has a background is super crucial, right? So there's still a technical requirement that, you know, I don't talk about, but it is crucial. You still need to structure your sites right. You still need to make sure that passes copy
siloed.
Exactly. And you need to make sure that you are targeting long tails. Dude, long tails, I mean, you'd be so surprised. Dude, people all day, they're trying to go after, you know, XYZ roofing, right? Or roofing replacement, okay? No, dude, what about roofing replacement on near South Fort Avenue, right? For example, would you rather pay, you know, let's say like $220 per lead or $20 per lead when that comes in? So like long tail is
it can also be more buyer intent.
Absolutely.
Long tail results in a higher conversion rate. So you end up spending less money or less effort to rank, converting more, and it's just a win-win.
Yeah, and what's cool, long tails, they have a snowball effect. So with long tails, you rank for more other long tails. Like, it's really cool, man.
Like one thing we're doing now with contractor showcases is we're just going to utilize the blog to showcase other businesses, other contractors. And so like when we release a vlog interview with a contractor, you can access that interview through the blog, and there's an actual blog written about that.
Yeah, that's cool.
So SEO is like a big part of what you do at web dev, and it's the nature of web development. But customer acquisition, there's a lot more to customer acquisition than obviously just organic ranking.
Right.
So what's your approach to customer acquisition?
So customer acquisition for our customers, or in terms of like what we do internally?
No, so like your typical client, the options for customer acquisition, you know, you've got, of course, SEO, you've got paid search, you've got PR, you've got a lot of things you can do. Web dev specifically, what do you do for your clients in the way of customer acquisition?
I think like when people sit down and they start thinking, you know, first, where are my customers and where do I want to be, right? They think they're too broad. They're too bird's eye view on it. And they're not, instead of being a bird's eye view, you should be down in the gutters, okay? And like you literally should be going through people's shit, right? Not looking at the top of their houses. And so what I mean by that is people are, when you think of a marketing campaign or you think about customer acquisition, you're thinking, okay, Google PPC, you're thinking about Facebook, you're thinking about like big broad, okay? The thing is, so is your competitors, and so is everybody working for your competitors, and so are these marketing agencies, okay? And this is why it's becoming harder and harder to acquire customers. It's getting harder and harder to get into these markets, right? You have to figure out what makes you different, not
even
just
by paying.
Even what?
Even by paying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like absolutely. Like you have to figure out what makes you different, not only from like a business point of view. You have a unique selling proposition that makes your business unique, right? Whatever that is, right? That people want to do business with you. You have to. If you're in business 2022, there's a reason why you're making money. Now, your marketing should be no different. So most people, what I see is, so we don't work with brand new companies. Generally, we don't. So what we do is we work with existing companies that have a website. What we've realized and come to it is that most people, when they're at they start a company, or even at 2 years, they have some way to penetrate the market. That's the reason why they're starting this company. Okay, it's a lot less of 2005 and 4 when it's I have this great idea, I'm going to do this. They all, from what I've seen, the majority of people have some way to come in and say, no, I have relationships here, or I have experience here and I know this. They have a way to penetrate the market, or I'm way familiar with PPC already, or I have this amazing Facebook guy, I have this amazing guy who has space in this niche, and this is why I'm starting a business, right? So there is something.
They already have a foot in the door somehow.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And if they don't, for certain types of businesses like SaaS, there's some pretty creative growth hacks. If you look for where your audience is congregating, and where your ideal customer persona or your ICP congregates, how can I tap into that? And then once you figure that out, you can creatively growth hack your way into that audience. Like in the case of Contractor Plus, one thing we did was we scraped a very large directory of contractors, and we made a directory for contractors and had all of their emails and phone numbers. So to claim their directory listing, all they had to do was download Contractor Plus, which is free. And I think that got us our first 3,000 contractors. So, that little growth hack took us a month and maybe a couple $1,000s to execute.
Yep.
So to pay to acquire 3,000 contractors at $50, you know what I mean? It'd have been, it's important to look for strategic ways and opportunities to get in with where your audience is congregating, and do it in a way that isn't intrusive, but it's inviting. Do it in a way where it makes them, it's highly likely they're going to take the bait.
Right. So like people will look at it and they'll say Facebook, okay, but okay, let's look at growth hacking. Growth hacking is the act of effectively doing something that is unseen, right? Like effectively marketing in an unusual way, at scale. How would you define growth hacking?
Yeah, it's basically it's a shortcut, or it's like a cheat code. It's like you're finding a way to get the desired out. That's what it is. You're defining a way to get the desired outcome without the expense.
Yeah.
If I paid ads to acquire customers at $54, I think our customer acquisition with paid ads is $54 per customer.
Yeah.
Now, so to acquire 1,000 customers at $54 per customer, I'm going to spend $54,000. So now if my customer lifetime value is greater than that, then I'm going to have an ROAS, a return on ad spend. So in most cases, it's worthwhile to do it. But the goal in business, at least in SaaS and software, is to get your customer acquisition cost as low as possible and your lifetime value as high as possible. And it's hard. When we first started, we didn't have a complete product, so we had really poor unit economics. We priced ourselves very low, and when you do that, your perceived value is also very low, so you attract the wrong customers. Yeah. But when you don't have a completed product and you're bootstrapping and you don't have any option but to start to get revenue on the table, that's kind of what you have to do. And then you just raise the pricing as you build out the solution and make it more all-encompassing. And also you notice, your KPIs, the KPIs that matter to us are our churn. What is that churn percentage? Now we've got single-digit churn. We're at 3%. So we've been pretty stable around 3% net churn for 4 consecutive months now.
Great.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy, man.
Dude, like a year ago, we were like doubled it. It was like
Yeah,
20% a month we were churning out.
Wow.
So we just started looking for ways, like, what are these churn points? You know,
Yeah.
I started looking. The way I see churn is like, okay, so the company is a boat. It's a ship. And churn are all these little holes in the boat.
Yes.
And
exactly.
the ship and all of your workers on the boat are holding 5-gallon buckets, just throwing water over the boat just so the boat doesn't sink.
Exactly.
But if you don't patch those holes, then your workers are going to be constantly fighting to keep the boat afloat.
And those holes are not like literally are leaking money. Like literally.
Yes, you're literally leaking money,
Yeah.
and it will sink the entire business if you don't address them. So those holes are the leading drivers of churn, and by patching them up, not only does your churn rates go down, but now your team can focus on growing the business through adding more value.
Exactly.
They're not focused on putting out fires.
Exactly.
They're focused on adding value.
Exactly.
So it's like a double-edged sword. So now we're at this pivotal moment where we're able to like create this all-encompassing product that really suits both ends of the market, and we're not worried about putting out fires. And that's a really good position to be in.
Yeah, it goes back to like dealing with new problems, right? Like now you can move forward focusing on things that you want to focus on, or things that you need to focus on, and not things that you have to focus on.
Right.
Or like
things people want.
Yeah.
And not just like things people need. The wants versus needs. Like the needs is like people need a platform where it's going to work. You know, they're out in the field doing an estimate. They need that to work.
And so what is the general feedback now? Like, what would you say what are your holes now that you're focusing on?
The holes now that we're focusing on, the churn points that we still have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's typically a lack of features that certain companies need. So like service industry businesses, they need live match, dispatching, route planning, and optimization. The contractors, the GCs, master developers, builders, they need end-to-end project management, Gantt charts with contingent phases. They need subcontractor management, onboarding, and compliance. So different types of contractors have different problems and different needs. But for us, our ultimate growth hack, it isn't something that we can like execute very quickly, because it requires an all-encompassing solution. And everyone tells you in software, like, solve one problem and do it really well and then integrate with everyone else. But in our case, that's not applicable.
Right.
You can start by doing that, but that's not the end game. If you want to take over the entire market, if you really want to take the whole pie, then you have to solve the service industry's problems.
Absolutely.
You have to solve the GCs and the master developers' problems. You have to solve the property managers' problems. All of these problems are currently getting solved by a plethora of different solutions. There's probably 50 different solutions on the market between those three categories of software, but they're all siloed. So it's like they're solving problems inside the organizational unit over here and over here and over here, but none of them are working together. Even if they are connecting data through Zapier, so what? It's not solving the person's problem. To solve the industry's problem, you have to fix things at the network level, not just within the organizational unit. But you can't evolve to solve the network's problems until you can adequately solve the organization's problems. So that's where the seed's planted. So now that we're getting there, and we're getting there, once we're there, now we have the network effects. Those network effects that's the rocket boosters, man. That gives you, it's viral. That's
see it too, like in your analytics. You're getting a ton of traffic from people searching Contractor Plus. It's a ton of traffic.
Yeah, people are. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, dude.
And if you read the reviews of what people are saying, like, no one has anything bad. The only thing bad anyone really has to say about Contractor Plus is out of our control. At this point, it's all payments related, and our partner Chase Bank, who we're grateful to have that partnership and that relationship, but they're not tailored towards contractors. And so we're working with vice presidents at Chase Bank, trying to make the solution more accommodating to contractors, but it's tough because they're really tailored towards SaaS. So contractors don't operate like software companies, dude. Like they go out and do an estimate and someone approves the estimate. They need their money so they can go buy the materials so they can start the job. They can't start the job unless they have the money. So does it make sense for them to let their customer pay with an ACH if it's going to take them 5 days to get their cash? No. They need their cash right then and there. And it's taken a while for WePay to like understand that, for Chase to understand that. And they're trying to accommodate it, but they move very slowly for such a big organization. We have people that are willing to do like more underwriting, more KYC on the front end. They pass the initial KYC process, but they have not passed a manual review yet. They've given them enough information and verification for them to trust them to start accepting credit cards.
But like, I assume they won't actually pay out.
But they won't settle. Right, they won't do the payout. So a payment and a payout are two different things.
Yeah, wow.
But if you're not telling contractors this up front, then that's wow. So if you read any of the negative reviews, it's about that. It's about I just built a pole barn, or I just did an estimate for a pole barn and the person paid me $23,000 and I've had funds tied up for 3 weeks and I can't access it. Now that hurts our reputation, but it's something we don't have control over. So I'm trying to get more control over that. Thankfully, Chase is trying to accommodate it on a case-by-case basis, but it's a lot to manage, man. Payment facilitation is no easy feat.
We are purchasing a server for all WordPress stuff.
Okay.
So we can basically, host, up to 1,000 sites at the current median traffic that we're maintaining now.
You use a dedicated IP for each website?
No, only enterprise sites.
Okay. Everybody else on a shared?
Well, it depends too, like if they have any, certain requirements, but they're shared within our sites, not shared it with like shared hosting or anything like that. So I think we may have like, 100 sites on one IP if they're like lower end clients. But enterprise clients are all high end dedicated shit.
Yeah, I mean they would require that.
Yeah, they pay for it, so it's good.
It's $1 a month for a fucking dedicated IP.
No, it's not it's the complexity it involves.
Oh yeah.
So
everything's got to be isolated.
Yeah. There's a lot more.
The RAID configuration. They've got to have backups. They got to have
for
security.
Error,
yeah.
Like there's more.
Like, do you have some kind of due diligence process? I don't know. That lot is full as hell.
Yeah. You know what it is, dude? Here's what I do. The ones that get the most attention, I'll invest just so I can leave a fucking comment and shout out webdev.com.
There's Icon Park. That's smart.
Yeah, dude. You know what's fucking attention?
You make an investment, you might even get clients out of that.
Yeah. Like high-end people have like added me on LinkedIn, tried to reach out. Like one, I've sold a manufacturer already. It's like $1,900 a month site, basically. So your next round of funding?
Yeah, we start, we're supposed to start on the 1st, but I wanted to secure, so because we've already raised Reg CF before, to raise $1 million, we have to have audited financials. So anything over 638,000 has to be audited. Okay. So I sent our financials off to a third-party firm to have them audited. We get those back, then we can launch the campaign. So early next week, we should be good.
How optimistic are you about it?
About launching about successfully raising?
Successfully raising.
Getting $1 million. It's just $1 million. I'm pretty optimistic. It's just $1 million.
I think right now it's a lot easier to justify if you look at where you are and where
the traction, bro.
Dude. I mean, when we had the conversation in the beginning, and we looked, there was still a lot of faith, right, that went along with the money.
Yes.
Now there's
seeing as believing. Now we've got the KPIs. Now we've got the metrics to prove that, like, hey, we're headed in this direction. You know what I mean? So like, we're not headed in this direction. We're headed in this direction. Do you want to be a part of that, or do you want to help us go from this to this?
What scares you the most about it? Raising money.
About raising money? What scares me the most? It's not that it scares me. It's that it's like like you said, everything has a cost, and raising money comes at a cost. You're giving up a big piece of the pie. I'm giving up. Okay, so to raise $1 million, the first $200,000 on early bird terms, our third-party valuation came back, giving us a range of a pre-money valuation of between $3.8 million and $4.6 million. That's from a credible source. So they're basically saying at this stage in our business, with our current traction, our current founding team, our current everything we have right now, our product, this is how much we should try to raise on. So we do the first $200,000 on early bird terms. We do, which would be the low end of that valuation, which would be $3.8 million. We give up 7% of the business, something like. Then the remainder of that, of the raise, it's going to end up costing us 20% of the pie. Plus, any check size under $25,000 through WeFunder, they take 7.5% of. Anything over $25,000.
You still plan on using WeFunder as your median? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. It's just there's other options, but the other options don't make it as easy to facilitate the investments.
Yeah.
So it's what you got to do. What we did wrong the last time, and what we can do differently this time is host a webinar every week. So people that are interested in learning more about you and the product you're building and your traction and getting a feel for like, hey, is my money well placed here?
Yeah.
They can come every Friday at 11 a.m. They can come. They can meet me, the rest of our team. Certain times people will be there, certain times they won't, but I'll answer their questions. It's a meet and greet and a Q&A. So now you have an opportunity to get face-to-face with the founders of Contractor Plus and ask your questions and feel more confident in your investment.
What is the next hiring phase? What does that look like for you? So do you have the development concerns hashed out?
We have 6 positions on the DevOps team that need filled immediately. Okay. We have customer success, who I already know who I want to hire for the position. Just haven't hired her yet. We'll start with one person for that. She's in Canada. So customer success, and then we have sales. Sales, we're probably not going to hire immediately. We'll keep commissioned only if someone wants to do it. Yeah. We are adding a high-ticket item.
That was my next question.
Yeah, so we're adding a masterclass called the Millionaire Contractor Masterclass, and we're giving it's 10 modules, 100 lessons, about 40 hours of content, and it also comes with a weekly process group. It's like a community where we meet. It's a roundtable, contractor roundtable. So you can come at your own whim. It's on Zoom every week at the same time. You show up, contractors are helping each other, answering questions for each other. It's really it's about community. So that will be, we haven't decided on the pricing yet, but we're gonna give the first module for free. So just by signing, you'll get on the front end website, you'll get the first lesson of the first module for free, and you'll be able to see the rest of it grayed out. It'll say to unlock it, sign up for a free account. Sign up for a free account, you unlock the first module, which you get the first 10 lessons for free. We give you so much value in that first module.
Hosted by? Is this you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll host it all. I don't see why not. The first it'll be all on our back end.
No, I mean like hosted as in who's speaking.
Oh yeah, so it'll be me, it'll be Robert Posey, maybe you, it'll be like other industry experts, people that know about and it's also, it's pre-framing, it's conditioning these people to get into the right mindset to know how to run their business. Because contractors are great at what they do, at swinging a hammer or installing roofs or whatever, but they fucking suck at running a business. Oh, I need to watch.
That should be on like a shirt, like contractors are great at what they do, but fucking suck at running a business. Yeah,
they don't know the first thing about running a business, dude. So, and that's just the reality. So we're trying to help them with that. If we can fix that problem, if we can fix the problem like, okay, this is how you systemize, this is how you hire, this is how you, if you want your employees, if you want to be able to attract and retain quality employees who are capable of going out and starting their own business, if you want them to work for you, you need to know how to treat them. And in the contractor world, I hear it all the time. One of the biggest problems I have is I can't find good workers. I can't grow because I can't find anybody that's as good as me to handle the business. No, you can't grow because you're not treating your business like a business. Treat your business like a business and handle your business, and you'll be able to attract those employees that you need. So, so that's part of it. The other part is it's also a sales opportunity, you know, because we're selling them on the benefits of a proper website, marketing, services, everything we have to offer.
Selling you, your voice, your vision.
Right.
Yeah. It's good, dude.
And it's going to boost retention. So, and it's going to add a ton of revenue.
And even if it doesn't, at the bare minimum, just like perception, right? It makes you
the value proposition,
right? Like,
way higher.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, I like that actually a lot. I think even if it doesn't drive like direct revenue, indirect
it will.
Yeah.
Oh, it will.
It's fucking genius.
Well, 18,000 contractors. We're getting 50 a day. At $1,000 millionaire contractor masterclass. Those first 10 lessons are going to be so impactful. Dude, there is no way after watching those they're going to say I don't want this. After that, they're going to feel it. They're going to know like this course is going to change my life. It's not just a course; it's a masterclass. Like we're bringing in industry experts. You know, probably I'll ask Hunter Ballou from Roofing.com. Robert Posey runs Revolt with him, so Robert will be there. We'll bring in some other experts, some people that are credible, and learn from people who've already been there and done that, who started from nothing, who knew nothing about business, and then made it happen. Yeah, the difference between the guy that's just himself and maybe his buddy, or just himself out there doing odd jobs, making $65K a year, $100K a year, whatever. The difference between him and the company with 100 techs, a fleet of vehicles, doing $50 million a year is not that crazy.
It's true.
It's not that drastic. It's just about getting the right systems and the right processes in place. You can't attract the people until you have the systems. So just at RoofCon a couple days ago, there was a PayFac there that specializes in contractor payments, and there are people that I've been talking to that have promised the world in terms of same-day access to your cash. At absolute worst case, it's next day. All you got to do is you got to do more underwriting up front, and you have to have a more fast-track process for manual reviews. So when a fraud alert does come through, or when someone is, they run it through like LexisNexis and everything on the back end, the banking industry, when they see a red flag and it triggers a manual review, Chase, that it gets put into a queue, and they say it takes between 1 and 3 business days. It takes 5-7 days sometimes.
And that's
ridiculous.
If everything goes according straight.
That's ridiculous. But there's companies that are saying, well, we recognize contractors can't have that happening. So as soon as we see the fraud alert, as soon as we see the review, within an hour, someone's going to handle it. We're going to call the merchant and verify it. So now a solution like that makes a lot more sense for contractors. So we may end up having to jump ship. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know we're always going to do what's in the best interest of our customer. So at the end of the day, the reason we're growing so fast is because we're customer centric, and because we actually care about our customers being able to run their business properly, and our customers know that about us, and that's why we're growing, and that's why people are talking about Contractor Plus. Now we can do things to help accelerate that growth, throw some fuel on the fire, like the inner circle. Contractor management and compliance. There's all kinds of things that we can do to rise to the occasion and enable our users. Like, for example, this Christmas, we are sending a handwritten letter from the CEO, a box of business cards with their logo, their business information, their name at night. If they don't have a logo, we're generating one for them. So we take our top 20 service categories. We have logo templates for each one of them, spin it for the name. It's all automated. On the back of it is an ad for Contractor Plus with a QR code. That QR code is unique to their business. It's their inner circle refer and earn code. So that handwritten letter explains to them how they can leverage those business cards to promote Contractor Plus and their business simultaneously.
I love it.
We give them a shirt, a Powered by Contractor Plus bumper sticker, some carpenter pencils, Contractor Plus, as a Christmas gift, and we have 600 paying subscribers, just shy of right now. So we're going to send all of them a Christmas gift and enable them to promote the platform. I think we'll probably see a pretty good ROI on that.
Dude, absolutely. It's genius. I love it.
Yeah, last year I actually did handwrite a bunch of Christmas cards. And at last Christmas, we only had 250 paying customers, probably. Or no, 300, just shy of 300 paying customers. And it took me 2 days to write all those cards with help. But we got the response from that was so huge, man. So people calling to thank us for sending in the card, like telling us like, this is why I knew we were right by doing business with you. Like, you know, people like really appreciate that.
Where do you see yourself next year? Like in a year from now?
A year from now. So assuming we're getting ready to launch our seed round. Yeah. The assumption is we're raising $1 million. We have a $100,000 lead commitment already. I don't see it being a problem. You know, we're working with some pretty big people, influencers, and that are willing to help promote the round this time around. So, assuming we complete that and we fill the gaps in our DevOps team, and we're able to build out shorten our roadmap significantly, this time next year, I see ourselves in terms of annual revenue, 1.2 million. In 24 months, I forecasted over $6 million on the safe side 3. So we're at that point where it's like ready to hockey stick.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we've got a solution that's stable, it's dependable, it's reliable. I wish I could say 100% uptime guarantee, but you know the industry, it's like so 99.99%.
Sure.
But you can rely on Contractor Plus, and people know that. And now that we're at that point, it's time, man. It's go time.
And is 100% of your energy now focused on Contractor Plus?
Is 100% of my personal energy?
Yeah, what other energy is there? Like, you know, like, well, you know,
so no, it's not. It will be eventually, you know, closing the seed round. It will be a lot of my energy is spent with investment joy right now.
Right.
I don't take a paycheck from Contractor Plus. The company can't afford to pay me, but I do very well for myself through other means. And through Investment Joy, my work there is purposeful. I help people learn how to acquire local unattractive businesses in real estate with little to no money out of pocket and no credit. We teach people, you know, what Investment Joy does is teaches people how that they can do these things, that there's unconventional acquisitions, there's a way to acquire businesses in real estate unconventionally that most people don't know about. When most people go to buy a business, they look where? LoopNet, Biz Buy Sell. They're looking at on-market opportunities, and same with real estate. They're looking on the MLS. But the best deals are off market.
Yep, absolutely.
The best deals you have to go find yourself. So it's really just a combination. It's really just a matter of having the right know-how, the right support. So, you know, accountability system and mentorship and guidance. So like, you know, when you have the right information combined with the right amount of effort, you're going to get the desired outcome. That idea without execution is useless.
Yeah, 100%.
So you got to give them the idea, you got to give them the know-how, and you got to support them as they're executing. So you're like that personal trainer that, you know, they're not going to let you fall short in the gym because that's their job. You know what I mean? Like their job is to get rid of this dad bod. And if you hire a personal trainer, they're going to do that. You know, so you hire a mentor in the investment and real estate niche who's been there and done that, who has acquired many businesses successfully, who has acquired hundreds of properties, single-family homes, managed hundreds of single-family homes. I mean, I ran a property management company that managed almost 800 single-family homes here in Central Florida.
Very cool.
So I want to be able to put 100% of my time, my energy into Contractor Plus, but it's not realistic right now because I also have bills. And the work that we're doing at Investment Joy is also giving me purpose. So it's not something that I want to abandon immediately.
Purpose is important, man. So explain to me with Contractor Plus, what is that purpose for you? How would you answer that?
Man, so like my mom, you know my story. My mom's a contractor. Growing up, my mother was a contractor. As a kid, I remember hanging out with her on job sites and like helping. And I mean, I was probably like 10 years old, getting paid $10 an hour. Like doing demo work and stripping lead paint.
$3 an hour. Yeah.
She paid me really well.
Wow.
Yeah. My mom's awesome, man. My mom's a rock star. Wow. But so my mom is the dude for real. So I've always been around contractors my whole life. And then when we started the real estate business and we grew this huge property management company, we were subbing out a ton of work to contractors. I mean, millions of dollars a year worth of work. And it was just logical at that point to bring things in-house. Like first it was carpet cleaning, because every time you have a tenant move out, the carpets need cleaned.
Exactly.
So it made more sense. It was more cost effective. Our carpet cleaning van paid for itself in 6 months.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you bought it used, of course, so we just started hiring internally for our handyman division instead of subbing all that work out. So then we grew this pretty big handyman division that ended up making more money than the property management. We were bringing in more revenue, like 3 times more revenue from the maintenance side of things than we are the management side of things. So then I realized, man, all of these systems, we had a lot of moving components, from like inventory in the warehouse to multiple fleet vehicles that are out in the field. We grew to, that division had almost 40 employees. So when we got to that point, I realized it became a logistical mess. I was up until 2 a.m. every night working. I wasn't getting all my work done. I was still having to run the business. I had a foreman that was going out and doing estimates on paper, and he was writing, like, he was pretty good about guesstimating the cost of things. He was always spot on, but I'd have to he'd bring that in, drop it off. My accountant or I would have to type it up in QuickBooks, send it off, zip a file full of photos and send it to the investor, get an approval, move the funds out of escrow. It was just this crazy mess, man. Like, too much going on. So I said, something has got to give. And that is what inspired me to create Handyman Estimator. Handyman Estimator just solved one problem, that one problem of double data entry. And we solved that problem internally. And I realized, man, how many other people are having the same problem? How many other people, like, can this help? And parked that for years. Didn't do anything about it. I was focused on Serpify and other stuff. And then, of course, my life took a turn and had a little time out. And during that phase, I was able to recalibrate. I was able to, I learned a lot.
Yeah,
sure. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about what I didn't know.
Yeah.
I really kind of, it just came to me like, this was probably the single best thing I've ever done in my career thus forward. It could be so much better. I could take that idea and I could turn it into something so much more. And it could really change people's lives. And that's how I see money. Like, my relationship with money is like, I'm not back then I had a different relationship with money. Everything I did was in pursuit of that almighty dollar. Today it's not. Today I'm in pursuit of purpose. I'm in pursuit of it's a lifestyle, man. Success is a lifestyle. It's not a destination. But money is a byproduct. Money is a consequence of living a successful lifestyle. So Hot Chicken Takeover is an interesting company. Actually, Michelle, their VP of HR, Brittany, was the VP at Hot Chicken Takeover. And they're an interesting company because out of 120 SLT, senior leadership team members, 90 of them are felons. Hot Chicken Takeover is strategic. They specifically hire felons to give them opportunities. Harley Blakeman from Honest Jobs, are you familiar with Harley?
I'm not.
So you have to look him up. He did a TED Talk. I went and met him, had a conversation with him in his Westerville office, Columbus. And he's a really smart guy, really incredibly smart guy. Had a rough time, with some things in life, with drugs.
his situation, his circumstances, it's just kind of crazy to see. Like, people say the same about me. Like, it's crazy to like, once, like, people that really know me, they have a hard time accepting or believing that, like, I was even capable of
Dude, I would
running
never,
an operation like that.
Dude, I would never, like, knowing you, like, all these years, I would never say you even went to prison. If somebody literally sat down and said, yeah, but I think...
Yeah, nobody would know that.
Yeah. Never, dude.
Yeah, and Harley is even more, like, if you met Harley, actually you should meet Harley. I'll connect you. He's very active on Twitter. He's a really smart guy. So he went through Techstars in Colorado, the incubator or the accelerator. I believe raised like $1.2 million in VC funding with like a MVP. Then started getting like all kinds of contracts, like started doing really well. Honest Jobs is a job platform, like it's similar to Indeed, but it's felon specific. So it's to help felons find employment. Now the problem is, so when I got out, Tyler Sherman told me about it, and I set up a profile on there and I looked at it. The problem I noticed is like there was like a local dairy farm that was hiring people to like milk cows, and they're paying like $14.50 an hour. And there's like you know, like they'll hire ranch hands and they'll hire, you know, handyman, but like nobody's paying. Well, like I didn't go to prison for being underpaid. I went to prison for getting caught with $3 million worth of dope. So, like, I live a lifestyle. My lifestyle, I don't have to be extravagant. I don't have to drive a Lamborghini. I don't care about those things because I could plant 15 churches in Africa for the cost of a Lamborghini, or probably more.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
like
basically,
way more.
You want to live comfortably.
Right. I just don't want to think about the dollar signs.
Exactly.
I don't want to. I don't look. When I look at this menu, my mind blurs out the numbers. I look and see what I read, and I see what I want to eat.
Dude, that's it. Me too. Dude.
I prefer restaurants with no prices on the menu.
You want to know something funny about restaurants? If you notice that menu, you too. If you notice the menu, they don't put dollar signs on the menu to make it appear like you're not spending money. So like,
Where? What do you mean?
See no dollar signs?
Oh. There's no dollar sign. It's just numbers.
Exactly.
What I prefer, so some restaurants will accommodate this. I prefer sometimes. So there's a restaurant that's called Another Broken Egg, and they have a menu with no prices on it. And I always ask for it because I don't want price to be part of the decision.
You guys ready to order? Here's the thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it ended. So you're not selling for him anymore.
Who?
For your buddy.
No, I'm selling. I'm doing sales. I don't know how long it'll last. I don't know, Mike. You know, he invited me to his church, and I think I'll probably go check it out. I told him I would, so I have to now.
Even if it doesn't, dude,
I have an online church that I like a lot, and they're actually here in Orlando. It's called Life Church.
Oh yeah, okay. Cool.
And
I like them too. Yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Dude, their online service is fire. I mean, their service is fire. Like, I connect with the message, so I've been watching it online. My favorite churches are the ones in the woods, the hillbillies, where they get fired up. I mean, I'm talking on fire. You feel the spirit.
Dude,
you get goosebumps.
This is a big thing with me trying to do it from home. One, being at home in front of a computer or on a phone for church doesn't work for me.
It's hard, but I make it work.
But me and her, we've been going to a church, basically a new one, every week. I'm in Germany, but dude, most of them are all in German.
I need to come see you in Morocco.
Yeah.
You need to get set up to start creating content too.
I know, dude.
Saeed too, why not?
Well, because not everybody can do what we can do. Like,
well, here's the deal with content. With video content, it's pay to play. It's like anything else. But if you want to gain an audience really fast, you have to do content with you have to collaborate with other creators, other people who already have audiences.
Yeah.
That's going to cost you money, or that's going to cost you equity. Financial creators, business, financial, real estate creators, people like Meet Kevin, people like Erica Kohlberg, people like Iced Coffee Hour, people like Minority Mindset. people like Brandon Schlichter and Investment Joy,
Yeah.
people like Ryan Pineda. All these guys have millions of followers, and they're all willing to accept equity. Like basically, so by equity, what I mean is they have a rate card.
Yeah.
What they would charge to be on their podcast, or what they would charge to do a vlog with you. So you take their rate card and you add 50% to the prices. Mark up their prices by 50% and pay them with equity instead of cash.
Yeah.
They're investment minded. So if they believe in what you're doing, and if they believe in you,
Well, we're talking
they're
about
going to do it.
on a per video basis.
No. Well, we're
mean,
talking
like-
about like whatever package you work out. Like for example,
Yeah. You mean
the deal with Ryan Pineda. Ryan, we went to meet Ryan. Tyler said, I think it'd be funny if you should take it. He doesn't know you, so, and he's a very busy guy. He's making millions of dollars a month, so take him something. So I went and got him a plant. And
You said a plant.
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 Did you see the video of me giving him a plant?
No.
Or us sitting between the plant? You didn't see the video?
Maybe
So,
I have.
okay, so
That's fun.
So basically, I went to Home Depot and I picked out a plant. Well, first we went to this other place and the plant was like $1,500. I was like, screw
Fuck
that.
You need like
So
$1.
I was like, I want a reasonable plant. He's like, you're at the wrong store. I was like, okay. Well, the same plant I just went and got for $70. So
Wow.
whatever. So we went to Home Depot, picked out a plant, picked out a nice planter, and I carried this giant plant. It's like taller than me. Carried it in Ryan Pineda's office.
Cool.
And everyone's like, I'm like ducking down to get in the elevator, and like everyone's like, what does this guy do? What's with the plant? And I said, well, in my culture, it's customary to greet new friends with a horticultural specimen.
Okay.
And they're like, what?
Yeah, good answer.
What?
I like this.
Where are you from? And I said, Ohio. You know?
Dude, that's good. That's good.
But here's the deal: the law of reciprocity.
Yeah.
So if you
That's
do
very
if you do something for somebody,
Yep.
if they're a good person, they're gonna feel they're gonna feel the
Not even
need
if
to
they're a
do
good
something
person,
for you.
If they're a smart person.
they're
This
smart.
is a reason why with web dev it works so well. Right, dude?
There you go, value
Dude.
add approach, value
Dude.
up front.
And here's like, I know this sounds a little fucked up, but if you provide so much value, and you're making somebody's life easier. So there's facade value that's just okay, this is appreciated. But then there's value that's okay, this is gonna take something off my plate or make my life easier or
Right.
make me money. Listen, web dev does all those things. What happens is it creates this effect where okay, now I feel like I owe this person, right? If you like it or not,
They're
like,
tied to you, man. They're married to
dude.
you. They believe it. Look, you added so much value. You just changed their life.
yeah, dude.
You added so much impact. You added so much value. You did so much for them. There's no way they're not going to recognize that.
No.
So, but going back to the law of reciprocity, it's like something even as simple as a plant, bro.
Yeah.
It cost me less, like $100.
And he's gonna remember you, dude.
And he was like, you know what's crazy? There's a plant downstairs that's blocking my sign. It's too big. And he was like, we've been needing a new plant where we could see the sign. So this would be perfect for that. So I carried it downstairs, then we took a picture sitting beside the plant.
Wow.
And he
That's a
said,
good
he
idea.
said, I'm on board. He said, whatever you need from me, you let me know.
Let
He's
me
like,
tell you what I do.
we'll do a vlog together. We'll do a podcast together. I'll let you set up a booth at my next event. I'll do call to actions and shout outs on my videos. And it's all, and he runs Future Flippers. He sells Future Flippers, which teaches, 10 years ago, this guy was broke. Today he's doing over $1 million a month in real estate deals. Okay? So he created Future, and then millions of dollars a month in education.
Cool.
So he created Future Flippers, which he sells for $30,000. It's a $30,000 education program. You want to spend 30 grand on a college education? It's not going to get you anything, or do you want to spend $30,000 to learn how to be the top performing real estate agent in your area? You know what I mean?
Cool, dude.
So basically, not just a real estate agent, anybody that wants to get into flipping.
Yeah.
Like he teaches you how it's done. So the more money you spend on something is the more skin you have in the game. It's the more likely you're going to be successful, because if you invest 30K into something, I could give that same thing away to someone else,
Yep.
and they wouldn't use it. They'd never use it. They'd still be broke their whole
You would
life.
appreciate it more. You'd be more committed to follow through with
There
it.
you go.
Absolutely.
So that's what it is. So, but he recognized the value in Contractor Plus, and and what we're doing. He likes software, and he sees the problem that we're solving, and he's like, you know what, this is something I can believe in. He said, I'm game. So basically, now he just puts together a rate card. I just sent him an email last night. He put together a rate card like, okay, so he charges $5,000 for a podcast interview.
Yeah.
If you want to be on his podcast, it's $5,000.
$5,000.
Oh yeah, $5,000.
Is that like a lot?
He's got millions of followers, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's gonna cut it up into shorts and put it on Instagram and like, yeah, like it's huge. It's a huge deal. So, and then like he does shout outs, like when he's talking with other people in other interviews, he'll mention Contractor Plus. Like they strategically.
Oh shit. That's
yeah,
cool.
see, it's all paid placement.
Damn.
It's pay to play. But it's all about what you negotiate. And if you don't ask, the answer's always no.
Yeah.
If you don't ask, the answer's always no. So it doesn't hurt to ask. The number one thing that held me back in life before I went to prison was fear of rejection. It was fear of rejection. It was fear of, I didn't ask a lot of times when I should have asked because I was afraid the answer would be no.
So you're saying that was, so before you
Yes.
went, you were scared to ask because you would get a no. Really?
I wasn't scared to ask. It wasn't that it wasn't that I was, it's just in certain situations. Today, I will always ask.
Yeah.
Because
not, right?
if you say no, the answer's no,
in
it's
the same
fine.
spot,
But it didn't hurt me. I'm in the same spot. There you go.
Exactly. Explain to me, dude, what your vision is like moving forward. So, because the center of everything you do is Contractor Plus, right? So
Contractor Plus is my, that's my main focus. I
So
spend
everything ties
70%
to
of my
this.
efforts to Contractor Plus.
Okay. And so basically the videos is to bolster your brand and to basically your personal brand that you do, and to leverage that for Contractor Plus and basically open up doors, opportunities.
Yep. So I'm building two brands.
Okay.
I mean, it is two brands at once.
All right, let me pray really quick.
Yep.
Thank you, Lord, for this food. Thank you for Justin and Matt. Matt, right? No, okay, good. Matt. And Lord, thank you for this opportunity to spend time with him and just give us knowledge and wisdom and discernment to make the right choices at the right time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. So wait, so you said, so yes, leveraging it is a crucial part.
Yeah, I think it all goes together. You know, I am Contractor Plus.
Yeah.
So like when people buy into Contractor Plus after a demo, it's not just because the solution just wowed them. It did for the price tag. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
But it's also because I wowed them. It's because
I'm familiar.
it's because they realize like, hey, this guy means business. Like this guy is gonna help us level up.
Does
This
that
guy
ever
cares
scare
about.
you? Like,
What's
does
that?
that ever scare you that if you decided to take a step back or not be involved, that
Someone else wouldn't be able to do it?
I know, yeah. Does that scare you, dude? Like, here's the thing. Even when it's a big company, listen, we are pretty, like, we're decent sized now. Like, we don't have to worry for anything. But I can't do shit, dude. If I take a step back, people don't put food on the tables. Like, it's a fucking problem.
You can't take a step back. You can't take a step back. You would have to hire 5 of you to take a step back. That's
Even
impossible.
Still, like here, but the thing
It's
is,
doable, but you're not.
what about you? Does that scare you for you, or no? You know
I don't
you're gonna get out
want
of
to
it.
take a step back.
Yeah, but it's not that, dude. It's what if taking a step back isn't by choice? What if, you know, you get married, get kids, lose focus? What if you get hurt, right? Dude, there's no room for error. Which, you know, while you're young, you think, okay, no big deal.
Well,
But I think for you, it'll probably change, right? You're building the company in a way that,
I don't want us to take a step back. I care so much about our customers and their outcome, and I really want to prove that we can. And I know this word is overused, but revolutionize an industry.
no, dude, like, I really think, dude, you're doing cool. So speaking of success, what is success for you? How would you word that?
Success is going to bed every night feeling good about what I accomplished and what I did today. Success is feeling good about what I'm doing in general for my customers, my family, myself. If I know that I'm not living up to my fullest potential, or if I know that I'm not holding myself to the to my capabilities, if I'm not meeting that bar, that if I'm not meeting that mark, then when I'm laying in bed at night, I'm not going to feel good about myself. That's not that's the opposite of success.
Yeah,
So feeling
I
success
agree.
for me is knowing that I am executing to my fullest capability.
Yeah, I agree. And for me, success is very much so on the same lines. It is allowing God to use you for your full potential, right? So if I wake up and I feel like I'm not doing what I am called to be doing, there's a problem. And that has recently, in the last few years, came to light. A big part of that is that, to me, success always was, I needed options, right? I needed, so my dad I grew up paycheck to paycheck, right? Dad raised all of us. And we're in the family's paycheck to paycheck, and that is normal. It isn't expected. And we weren't really taught the financial side of the responsibility, and it's just we weren't. And my dad did his best, but not to like on a business level. And I always thought growing up, wow, it would be amazing to just not even worry about what the price of gas is, not worry about paying for the person in front of me at Walmart. And listen, I remember where like that started becoming reality in my life, and I was like, well, those groceries are a lot, maybe I'll wait for the next person, right? Where now it's at a point where it doesn't matter how many groceries it is. So having those options in relationships, having those options in giving, in contributing, in investing into people, dude, to me that is success, right? Like it just is. You have the options to invest into people, and sometimes it doesn't work out.
It doesn't hurt you, but when it doesn't work out,
sometimes
it's
it doesn't,
okay.
dude. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't. That's okay. Like, and this is why I say you can't like satisfy 100% of people 100% of the time. You can't, right? And this is a common saying, but I believe this. I used to believe that you can't help people who don't help themselves. So like this is like a lot of people would believe this, and for me though, this was like a justification of not helping people, because here's the problem with this. It's like a fatal flaw. You will always find a reason, right, why somebody isn't helping themselves to your expectations, okay? Because you're putting your expectations as theirs, but they're not. So basically, I can come in and I can say, Justin, I'm not going to invest into you, okay? Because you don't help yourself, right? And I can't help you if you can't help yourself. But the problem is, I'm saying, right, your reality. I don't know your reality, dude, right? I can't set your expectations, okay? I can't do that. So now my way of thinking is, I'm going to help people the best I can, okay? Listen, I can't, let's just like with COVID, all the things going on in the world, I can't focus on all of that. I can't focus on the choices that you're making or not making, or your personal life, or anybody's personal life, or my sister's or my dad, or any issues that are going on anywhere, okay? I can't, but what I can do is I can focus on what I'm going to do, right?
Amen.
And so that's just, that's my rule of thumb.
That's the only thing we have control over is ourselves.
Yeah. Dude, that's it, man. That's it, dude. And for me, success is, dude, I have to be used. I have to feel like it's not Michael doing it. It used to be Michael doing it, and it would be like I would be rewarded on a worldly level, and I would feel like hot shit, and it would be cool looking at the numbers in the bank, and I would be, oh yeah, good job, dude, good job. And I just hated who I was becoming. I just hated it. And now,
yeah, that goes back to the same. Money doesn't buy happiness.
No, dude.
Money buys misery, bro. Like if you're pursuing the dollar, the pursuit, like if that's all you care about, it buys misery.
This is true, man.
I don't care how big your house is. I don't care how nice or how new your Ferrari is. I don't care. You're gonna be miserable.
Here's the problem.
I know people driving Lamborghinis right now, living in penthouses, that are miserable. I know that guy. Dude. And
I'm gonna do this. Listen, the act alone, okay, of chasing the dollar. Okay, let me use this as an example. Okay, the act of chasing that. Let's pretend that cup right there is the money. Okay, the act of me chasing that and focusing on that money as the outcome. Okay, is I'm not worried about anything around me. Okay, and what happens is, yes, for fact. Okay, dude, and you live in America in 2022. If you focus on getting the money, you're gonna get the money. This is a reality. But who the hell are you going to become when you have that money, okay? Because you're going to look back, dude, and I'm telling you, you're not going to have best friends. You're not going to have people loving you. You're not going to have people who are going to stay up for you, that's going to call you, that's going to see if you're okay. Dude, you're not going to be happy. I was there. I got to that cup, and I looked back, dude, and I was an a-hole. I was still dealing with issues from having that mindset. Right. Like, sorry, I just had to, like,
no,
this as an example.
I can empathize with that, man. I've been there, too.
Dude,
I've
man.
been there.
Thank God that at a younger age, because there's people who are 45 years old, dude, that still, they don't get it, man.
You know what it is, man, and like you said, dude, you give credit to God, you give all glory to God, but if you think about it, it makes sense, because you're not pursuing the money, you're pursuing the purpose, you're pursuing how you're helping people, and as a result, God rewards you.
Dude.
God makes sure you're provided for.
Dude,
You don't have to worry about money. You're at that point now where you don't have to worry about it. You sit down at the dinner table, you don't even have to think about the dollar sign.
Let me tell you the beauty about being a Christian and business, okay? Here's the beauty about it. It's awesome. It's all God's money, okay? It's all God's business, right? It's all His. He's my CEO, right? He's calling the shots. It's His business. So if you really have faith in this and you really focus on this, think about this reality. Just think about this, imagine if this was a real reality in your life, dude, okay?
That's crazy.
The money in the bank account, okay? Accept it that, okay, this is God's money. He can give it, He can make it go up, and He can make it go down.
That's right.
Right? If you focus, dude, life is easy. Business is great, man, because He's in control. He's literally in control, man.
That's right.
Awesome,
we just got to do what we're called to do.
Absolutely.
That's it. Do it, though.
Dude, yeah, you have to take action.
That's
You
right.
have to take action. It's here's the thing, everybody's going to have opportunities to do a lot of cool stuff in their life. And, dude, I could have easily, not come here today, right? You could have easily, not come to Florida, right? I've had a lot of friends, a lot of great people in my life who have given me opportunities. And still, we have free will. I have to take those opportunities, right? I have to take advantage, and this is what I tell people, I have to take advantage of the opportunity, not the person.
Yeah.
Right? So, and people want to help people, right? People really want to help people. Here's the thing, I tell my girlfriend this all the time, she's like...
It's human nature. People really, genuinely, most people, statistically, most people want to help people.
They do, man. I tell my girlfriend this all the time. She goes, no, don't worry about this. Don't worry about this. I don't need it. Don't spend the money on this or don't do this. And at a certain point, basically to win the conversation or argument, but also the reality is, listen, I'm not doing it because I love you and I care about you and I feel like it needs to be done, okay? I'm doing it for me, right? I need to invest into you. I need to do this, right? I need to.
Sure. Yeah.
It's real, man. People really need to help. Think about...
Really, we don't always, so when we help other people, we're also helping ourselves.
Absolutely.
We benefit out of that. I mean, and most people, humans are creatures of self-interest, and a lot of times when we help other people, it is because of how it makes us feel. It isn't entirely about how or what it does for them. Helping other people has a very good consequence.
And dude, it comes down to everybody has this idea of this vision, or this idea of who they want to be. Okay, it could either be this CEO, or it could be this hard worker who provides for his family, or it could be all these things. Well, here's the thing: whatever it is for you, okay, get off your ass and be intentional about it. Okay, if you really want to be
I love that.
If you really want to be provide for your family and you're having struggles, get off your ass and focus on this, dude. Yes. And here's the thing, if you really, for being a man, when I say this, being a man, for men, okay, we have to make a decision in our life. Are we going to be a good man or a bad man? There's no in between, okay? There's no in between. You're either a good man or you're a bad man. And let me tell you, it is really, really, really easy to be a bad man, right? It really is easy.
Sure.
Listen,
it requires
here's
zero
a
effort.
super rule. Just focus on yourself, the end period, close the book,
Yep.
okay? Listen, this is our nature, dude. We're fallen creatures. It is hard to be a good man, right? It is hard to be intentional and literally...
It takes discipline.
Dude, it takes discipline, man. And you're going to make mistakes.
It takes focus.
Dude, absolutely, man.
It takes sacrifice. It takes commitment.
Absolutely.
We have to... and that's one of the hardest things for me in my path, my entrepreneurial journey, is being able to see far enough ahead to be willing to sacrifice the instant gratification. Because we know that we're not promised tomorrow. I know that. I could go to sleep tonight and not wake up in the morning. And that target, that goal, that what I'm working for,
You know, it may be so far that I may never reach it. So knowing that, it's very difficult. That makes it even harder in the moment to forgo instant gratification right now. But when you do it, when you forgo it, when you say no, I'm not doing that, and you discipline yourself to stay true to that, you define that principle, that core operating principle, your life philosophy. Ray Dalio wrote in his book Principles, you know, like everything he does, he does with purpose and with intent. And when the right input results in the right or desired outcome, then he defines that as an operating principle. Because now every time I'm faced with this decision or this type of decision, I know to do this. I know to answer it this way because the outcome will be this. If you continue doing the same thing except expecting a different result, that is the definition of insanity. So, you know, once you figure out what works, you define it as a principle. That is what works, and that becomes part of my modus operandi, or my modus operandi, however you say it.
So, it's funny because, you know, it's like, I keep using the word invest, right? So investing to me is something I take super seriously. And this is like, in business, it's core. So, for example, I'm not really interested in, okay, let's say, for example, let's use this in personal life. Let's say, you know, you're looking, before I go into the business side of things, let's say you are looking for a house, a car, a new job, okay? What I do is I don't focus, right, on the house or the car or the job, right? I focus on the person, right? Who's the person, who's the relationship that's gonna help me get that, right? As a self-interest thing, of course, because there's things that we need to do in our lives, okay, on a personal level. But dude, what relationships can you nurture, right? Can you build, can you grow that you both win? Okay, listen, in business, if you wanna be successful, if you wanna make money, both people have to win.
Both have to win.
Okay? It's a full cycle, man. It's a full cycle.
Or all people. Sometimes it's more than two people
Dude,
involved. All people have to win.
Exactly. So like, what personally, like with relationships, it's always like every relationship I want to like dude, provide value first. Provide value first. Like,
you can't take more from the table than what you bring to it.
Exactly. And here's the thing: you may not see dividends from that relationship right away, dude. But listen, it's gonna come, man. Like, being intentional about who you want to be is super important. You have to take action to it, even when it doesn't. It's gonna cost you. Listen, Justin, remember this.
Knowing is only half the battle.
There's always gonna be a price, dude. There's always gonna be a price, okay, for doing the wrong thing or doing the right thing, okay? Listen, it's just you have to decide for yourself, okay? Every entrepreneur, every man, every person has to make just a choice. What price would you rather pay, okay? That's it. Right, like either one's, they're both gonna be hard decisions.
Something.
This is like dude. It is hard being poor. It is hard being poor.
I always,
okay?
I say that it would be just as hard to be poor and live in a cardboard box as it would be to drive a Ferrari and live in a 15,000
Just choose
square
which
foot
hard you want.
penthouse.
Dude.
Exactly, and
That's
then fight
it,
for
dude.
it. Work for it.
Exactly. Like we're using it, saying it nonchalantly, like it's not easy. It doesn't take discipline. It is not easy. Listen, if it was easy, dude, everyone would be doing it, right? It's not easy. But it's possible and it's doable, and you will be successful as you stretch that muscle, as you work it.
It's a lifestyle. It's like it's a commitment to a lifestyle. That's the thing. Like that's the biggest thing. It's like that success is not a destination. It is a lifestyle. Yeah. And once you've defined that successful living, what that means to you, and you're happy with, you know, with who you are, you're happy with what you're doing, and you have that purpose. You know, to me that is success, and as a direct result of living in accordance with our core values and beliefs and principles, and doing what we know to be what is right, even when what is right is what is hard, ends up getting us the desired outcome.
Yeah. You know, it's the first time in my life, I would say probably in the last, this year, that I am fully at peace with who I am. And it's not by accident, but for me it starts with, you know, the relationships. So personally and professionally.
I'm joking.
Personally and professionally, dude, like all the relationships I have and that I've nurtured, or dude, even like all the bridges that I've burned in the past, a part of the process for me was building those bridges. And for me to be used for the kingdom, for me to be used in business, I have to have good relationships, man. And for me to be used to my fullest potential, for me, it really is relationships. But here's the thing, like, you'll notice most entrepreneurs, right, it's not about really what you know, man. It's about who you know. It's like the relationships are so crucial for business and being successful.
I say it's not about what you know, it's not about who you know, but it's about who knows you.
Okay, I like this.
And the reason is because you can know everything. You can know all that. You can have all the right information, but without the execution or without the right people in place, and without the people helping you, you're not going to get to the desired outcome. You can know the right people, but if they don't really know you, if they don't know your heart, if they don't know your ambition, if they don't know your work ethic, if they don't know your principles, if they don't understand your value system, if they don't understand what makes you tick, then what you know and who you know doesn't even matter.
This is why, like when I told you, use that as an example, if any one of my employees got offered, 3 times more money, they wouldn't leave.
They wouldn't leave.
They wouldn't leave.
Because they wouldn't want to work for someone else.
Dude, exactly. Right, dude, you got to, just like you invest, your employees, you have to invest into those relationships. You have to invest into those people. You do that, man, you don't need to dangle carrots, right? As far as they're concerned, the carrot is always dangling, right? Like it's always there. They're always are going to do their best and always be as focused as possible. And here's the thing. Our expectations, dude, it is in our nature, right? Running companies that people cannot meet our expectations, right? We can't, dude. And listen, here's the thing. If they did, I had this nephew, my nephew, 3 years old, okay? Amazing kid. Absolutely well behaved in every way possible. Goes to bed at 9 o'clock. I'm trying to see if he'll push his mom. I'm waiting for him to say no, okay? I'm waiting for him to be disrespectful, okay? And I'm expecting it. I'm expecting for him to fall, okay? So I can push him to be better, okay? It is just in me. So I talked to my sister and I said, wow, first time in my life, I don't know where to set my expectations, right? Like, he is such an amazing kid. Like, where do I go? In business, it is our responsibility to keep setting those expectations. And here's the thing. Saeed, for example, dude, he nails it, right? He will meet me in the hours, sometimes beat me, I won't admit this, okay? And, dude, he is taking the initiative. He's being held accountable himself and people underneath him.
He said sometimes it beats you.
Yeah, like
since you've got a girlfriend.
This is true. Dude, this is
because
true.
Michael Fied before the girlfriend, man,
dude, I underestimated
for real team
that.
no sleep.
Dude, I know. It's like 18-hour days, like just nonstop. Yeah, I know. But
crushing it.
Saeed, I'm at this point with him where, dude, he is just becoming such an asset. Okay, that I don't know where to set those expectations at anymore. Right? I'm figuring
because he
out
believes in you
stuff.
too, and because. Yeah, you've got a great, and I feel the same way about Roshan.
Yeah.
I do. A lot of people, I've had investors in the past, it's like they questioned Roshan, they questioned India. Do you really think India is the best choice for, running your DevOps? Do you really think Roshan's capable? Is he assertive enough? Is he enough of a leader? And I said, yeah, of course he is. I believe in him.
Yeah.
And is he perfect? No, but neither am I. You know what I mean? But where I am weak, he is strong, and where he is weak, I am strong. And
Exactly.
we both care about the business. We look at the business like it's our baby, and you don't just drop your baby on its head and laugh about it. You know what I mean? You take care of that baby, you nurture it, and we both care about it to that level. So that is why that relationship is so strong. And also, I think Roshan probably does a slightly better job of connecting with the people. He's on the ground with them. There, I'm not. I can go there, but I can't live there.
Yeah.
Well, I can't as a thinking error. I could live there. I love Indian food. My camera guy hates Indian food. I ordered Indian the other day. Matt's over there laughing.
You'll like Moroccan food, dude. Come to Morocco.
I like Moroccan food.
Moroccan
I like
food's
all
great.
food, bro. But going back to what you were saying, like invest in the people. So I'm not just dangling carrots. That's part of what I do to incentivize, but it's multi-tiered. Like, I also show that I care. Like, when a team member has a new baby, we bought them a very nice stroller.
Cool.
When someone got sick or had a kid that was sick, we offered to pay the doctor bills, and had our virtual, or it's not a VA, our assistant. He's in the office in India, Nikhil, get a card and had everyone on our team sign and put a gift card in it and took it to them. So like we show that we care, and I don't do that just to show that we care. I do that because I actually do care. So, I don't see, and it goes back to like the whole instant gratification thing. I don't see an immediate impact of that, but what I do know is like I don't have people quitting.
Yeah.
No one's leaving, and it seems the product keeps getting better, and churn keeps getting lower. Lifetime value keeps getting higher. So I think those are all indicators that the culture is getting to where it needs to be for the company to thrive.
Well, dude, we have these. Listen, there's no room for like another person to create this structure, at least in my company, than me. Okay, right now, because I'm so like hardcore about it, and I set, and I know you do too, right? These expectations where like things have to be done this way, because here's how I look at it is I see it kind of like a needle. It's my job to make sure that needle is moving forward, and everybody else, their needle is just for what they're in control of, right? Our needle is the big picture, okay? It's the big picture. Like we have real deadlines. We have real pressure of paying everybody, of getting everything like it's growing. It's not just staying in one spot, but growing. And going back to your employees, dude, it's really hard, like for me to set my expectations in them. Like I'm still trying to figure out how to do this, because I fail a lot, man. Like I say things that I shouldn't say. I'm overly aggressive. I'm rushing, so I'm trying to get more structured and organized in this, and it's rough. But dude, the carrot, man. There's a culture element to it. So for sure, India versus Morocco versus the U.S. versus Bangladesh, right? What are the cultural nuances? And obviously, money plays a role into it, right? Are you paying them on the low end or the median end of where they're at, or do they have this sense of being taken advantage of?
Can't have that.
No, you can't, dude.
Can't have that for sure not. They have to know that you actually genuinely care about their well-being and their family's well-being. It isn't just about them; it's about how their family's eating. Are they struggling to pay their light bill, or do they not have to worry about those things?
Exactly.
My goal for my team is to make sure my team never has to want for nothing.
Yeah.
If they care, as long as they're willing to care as much about our customers and our business as I do, they'll never have to want for anything. Their family will never have to want for anything, and that's important.
But they need to, I believe that everybody in my team, they believe that, that's really is my goal. It really is my goal. I would be at so much peace if my whole team, they were all filthy rich. We literally were all just never had to worry about nothing. They could bless as many people as they wanted. They could do.
Well, you've got a really big team, though.
As long as they're all stay at work. No, I'm just kidding.
You've got a pretty big team, man. So, but yeah, it's I told my guys, I said, listen, guys, we have two options here. We can hire, I can fill 30 positions, and we can pay them pretty good, good enough to retain them, or we can stay really small, under 15, and we can pay everyone exceptionally well. What do you guys want to do? But these are the targets, these are the benchmarks, these are the milestones. How do you want to do it?
I never go off with exceptionally well. One, I'm cheap. Two, two, I need to see if the mindset is right. So, for example, one thing that I have with everybody. So, depending on whatever their computer setup is, let's say they're working at home, they're not in an office. So, after an office, we get computers built, and that's different. But originally, that's not how I started.
Oh yeah, you're still on PC.
Yeah. So everybody is
a web development company running on PC.
No, yeah, dude, of course. But we have some people on Macs, but I'm trying to get them off. But
see, we're the opposite. I'm trying to get everyone on Mac.
Dude,
I remember you gave me so much shit about this.
Yes. And this, dude.
Dude, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
What? You finally know how to pick it up? Woo! You know how to answer a phone. Good job, Justin. Best thing that ever happened to you.
Dude, I was on Android and PC for years. When I switched to Mac from PC, I was like, what have I been missing? This was insane. Like the change, the usability. Like once you learn all the shortcuts on Mac, it's just, you don't have to think about it, and it always works, and it's just so stupidly simple. Like I don't need to be able to go in and configure DL, like change like system files and hack things, and like dude, I'm not 13 years old sending Trojan horses to people anymore. You know, making their printer print things and like looking at their webcam when their wife isn't clothed and like doing stupid stuff.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know you have no idea what I'm talking about. I remember one was called like Sub 7, a Trojan.
Yeah, I have no
idea. Yeah, you can like no idea. So different lifetime.
Never heard of this. Are we talking about sofas? Like.
But yeah, man, so I don't have a need for that stuff anymore, and Mac just makes sense. And like now that I'm on MacBook, I switched to iPhone. Mm-hmm. I will say the only thing that like I get butthurt about is the fact that, and it's smart business. You know, Steve Jobs was a genius. Yeah. His thing was like, I'm gonna stay 5 iterations ahead.
Yeah.
So before I release the iPhone 1, I'm going to have the iPhone 5 prototyped. At least a rough concept of what the iPhone 5 is going to look like. Yeah. It's going to change by the time you get there.
Yeah.
But you're going to at least have some kind of idea of what it's going to be. Because now you can control the market.
Yeah.
Now, every year you can drop a new product, and your true believers are going to discard this one. Yeah. It's going to end up in a landfill somewhere, and you're going to have a new one.
Yeah, he's genius. Yeah.
So I just bought this 4 months ago, and it's the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and best phone I've ever had, hands down. I mean, amazing.
Best phone I've ever had, brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S23. Okay, just saying.
Is the 23 out?
No, I got the 22. I don't know what the 23 is out. So okay, I got the 22 Ultra. But listen, you want to have a zoom contest so you can zoom in better? I could be at the top of a plane. Okay, I can literally see a Honda Civic driving by and see like the person in the seat. Dude, it's nuts,
okay, well,
dude.
listen, there's a helicopter. Nuts. There's like a helicopter tour place like right down the street from here. Let's go do that test. Yeah. Let's go do it.
I mean, I'll win. There's no, you want to bet?
You think you can zoom in that? Yeah? $50. Pretty serious church-going family, but and my father's favorite scripture is John 3:16.
Okay.
God so loved the earth, he gave his only begotten Son.
Whoever believed in him will not perish but have everlasting life.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, and over the years, for a long time, that's conflicted. Like I've had a confliction with that, and the only reason is because I do business with people all over the world. I see people based on their actions. So like, regardless of what someone believes, like if they're born in Morocco,
right,
but the person is a moral person, like they have that moral compass, they're guided by that spirit, or whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it, they do what's right, and when they do wrong, they feel bad about it and they make it right. They learn from it. For one thing for sure is I know there's an up and I know there's a down. I know there's an on and I know there's an off. That light's on right now. We can't really dispute that. That's a priori. In epistemology and praxeology, the deduction of the distillation of fact, we determine what is actually true and what is not true. There is such thing as objective reality. And so there's some things that are debatable and there's some things that are not. It is not debatable that light is on.
Well, if you look at like objective reality, okay, let's explore that. So you look at the world around us, okay? The most advanced invention in the world, let's just call it that, okay? So you have birth, oxygen, you have an atmosphere, you have an environment, grass, colors, animals, you have, sexes and childbirth, right? And you have the science and the anatomy of the human body, okay? Crazy. Now, I have a sister, she believes that two neurons came together, Big Bang Theory, and created all of this complexity. Now, think about how like intentional, right, we are about our lives and how hard it is for us to have things connect the way that we need it to, or we would like it to connect. And the likelihood of that is what? Still 1 out of 1,000, right? It still pivots in that path and that journey, and it still isn't the outcome we think it is.
Definitely.
Now, and here's the thing, it's safe to say, like, the earth is, if there was no humans, right, you just look at it from a bird's eye point of view, it's pretty perfect, right? It's pretty awesome. It makes sense. It works, right? Like, so it's logically, right, there's a creator behind it. So if you assume that, right, there's a creator.
Agreed.
It's an invention, man. It's a creator. And then from there, you kind of just build off from there. Now, like with Muslims, they say they go into the theory of, like, how do you get to heaven, right? So I asked this question. So for Christians, it's a fundamental question. And for us, it is John 3:16, right? For God so loved the world, he gave his only son, and whoever believed in him will not perish but have everlasting life. For us, that is the verse that differentiates us from Muslims, right? Like, dude, our beliefs are super similar.
Sure.
Now,
they all stem from the Abrahamic religions.
Dude,
I mean,
for us,
from the same place.
For Christians, it's free will, right? And a big part of the Christian faith is that's it, dude. It's faith. You have to have this trust and this dependence in God. And if you don't, and here's the thing, like, we're not in a Muslim country where we're literally, this is ingrained in our culture. This is not like our dads didn't start ingraining this into us. Our mothers didn't start teaching us this from an early age. Well, most Christians, at least. For Muslims, it's in their culture. You are expected to do this. You are expected to do this. There is no other option. You will lose your family if you don't believe. Right. It is like serious.
Oh, yeah.
Christianity, it's way more loose, right? In terms of Christianity, primarily because of the Western culture, right? So with Christianity, for us, listen, dude, I should be dead. I should be in prison, man. I should have a bad life. You don't like find Christ through culture, right? For me, I found it personally for me when I was in a really bad spot in my life and I had no other choice. And I've lived a life doing all this crazy stuff on my own, and it's hard. And I've lived a life with Christ, and it's much easier. It's still hard, but it's much easier. And like for me, dude, it's like, do you want to do all this on your own, or do you want to do it with Christ? Right? When you have shit going on and your life is hard and people are dying and businesses are failing and you're losing money, you don't know what you're going to do. Do you want to say, you know what, Michael, you have this, you're going to figure out, you know what, God, you have this. Thank you for being you.
Yes.
Right? And
well, it's not in our control.
For me.
For sure, it's definitely not in our control, and I agree with you there. And I agree with creation. The thing is I think faith is the notion or is the belief in something without evidence.
Yes.
So it requires us, it's not scientific at all. Basically, it's saying, look, I just know that this all makes sense. So it would be like posteriori. So basically, faith requires the acknowledgement or the acceptance of something that we don't have all the facts on.
But I think like faith ends, you can't just like, it's not a blanketed statement, right? Faith without action is dead, right, dude?
Yes.
You have to have, let's say you have a faith in a certain thing, right? You have faith in Contractor Plus. You have faith in your business. You have faith in your family. Okay, whatever you want to use as that. But if you just have faith and there's no action towards that.
I agree. It's just like an idea without execution
dude.
is worthless.
It's a dream,
Yeah, everybody's got dreams.
Yeah.
Everybody's got that. So I think the biggest thing is like, I have an issue putting a face or putting a name on God. And I think it makes more sense to me that God is omnipresent.
Yeah.
That God isn't male or female.
Yeah.
That God isn't and never has been in the form of male or female. Okay. But then the Christians say, wait a minute now.
That's why I said
That's
okay.
Christ.
That's why I said okay.
That's Christ. So that's the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So it's all one.
Yeah, dude, you're pretty educated, right? Like,
yeah.
Even when I'm talking with Muslims, they're educated in what they were taught, right? Not in Christianity. So here's the thing, like, would you say you're a Christian or no?
Yeah, so I believe Christ existed. I know Christ. There's plenty of evidence Christ existed.
True, yeah.
I've read The Case for Christ.
Uh-huh.
I've read Rabbi Zacharias, a couple of books from Rabbi.
Amazing guy,
for a long time, I was just on this like mission trying to figure out like what I believed and why.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to just accept everything I was spoon-fed as a kid.
Good.
I wanted to understand it. And through this understanding, I was praying and praying and praying, like asking God, reveal yourself to me, please. You know, there's even scripture in the Bible that talks about like with the terry cloth.
Yeah.
So, and I started seeing, and when I started praying for that, I started seeing examples all over the place, but it was to the contrary of what I was expecting. That what I was seeing and what I was witnessing, like what the answers to the prayers was showing me something that I wasn't expecting to see. And I started seeing examples of people who were throwing Christ out there in business and in examples and were definitely like dragging them through the mud. So, and I started realizing, like, wait a minute, all these self-proclaimed Christians that are running around with Jesus fishes on their car, telling people how much of a Christian they are, even if they're showing up to church every Sunday, you know what I mean? Like, they're not, these people I'm seeing, they're not living right.
Yeah.
They're not doing right. They're giving people their word. They're not keeping it. They're not the people that are taking action. They're the people with the idea without the action. Yeah. So, and I'm seeing this all over the place. Now, I can't say that about every Christian. I know plenty of Christians who walk the walk. I know plenty. But I started seeing all this evidence, and then I started questioning. I said, there's just no way. If I'm born in India and I live with a family of 10 under a painter's tarp, and I've never been introduced to Christ, I've never been introduced to Christianity, but I live a moral existence, and I do right by my fellow man, and I love, and I care. I put your feelings and I put you above me. There's no way that if I were to die in my sleep tonight, that God's going to send me to hell. There's no way.
I think that comes down to, right, if you believe the Bible or not, right? So I think emotionally, in a lot of senses, and religions are, literally with Muslims, they tell me all the time, hey, God's going to forgive me no matter what if I do the right things. Okay? With Christianity, it's not about works. Works is an element to it, but it is about faith and belief in Jesus. That is Christianity. That is, it's very, very clear, right? If John 3:16, if you want eternal life, you believe Jesus. Right. So it is clear. It is a very harsh reality.
Okay, but if I believe, so I accept that as my ultimate, my one true north. I believe Jesus. I do believe in Jesus. But what I'm saying is now if I just go out and I'm just a shady person, I'm stealing from people, I'm committing adultery, I'm coveting my neighbor's wife, I'm just doing everything I'm not supposed to do. But at the end of the day, I feel bad about it and I repent and I'm like, I want to do better. I need to do better. But then the next day I wake up and I just do the same thing again.
Yeah. All right, let me explain it. So first, let me go into what you said before. So I made a decision early on. I must have been 20 years old. And before this, I made this intentional decision. And it was, I'm never going to form an opinion about somebody without getting to know that person. So, and this bleeds into many areas of business and it bleeds into many areas of my life to this day. Now, let's use for Christianity, for example. Dude, actually not Christianity, let's use me for an example. Okay, I make mistakes every day. I sin. I have issues, big time. I am not a good representation of Christ, for a fact. Okay, this is one reason why homosexuality is such a problem in the church. Now, I'm not talking about me. We're talking about a new conversation. Let me explain this.
I wonder where this one was going.
Let me explain this, okay? Now, that's funny. The problem that the Christians have with homosexuality is, look, we don't hate the person, okay? We hate the sin.
Yes.
Because with homosexuality, what you're saying is you are accepting the sin, okay? Yep. So the Bible says that no sin gets into heaven, okay? Right. But with homosexuality, what you're saying is, I'm born this way, I accept this is who I am, I'm going to live a lifestyle of this,
right.
And I've accepted it, okay? I'm moving forward as this is who I am with this sin. You are not repenting. You are not going to Christ. You are not asking for forgiveness. You don't want to change. There is no, you have this sin that you've attached to and that you've accepted, and this is your choice.
Right.
Now, you have, let's say, like you were saying, stealing, cheating, you were doing, adultery, all these other things that you should not be doing. By the end of the day, okay, and you realize that we are fallen creatures, that we are up against the world, we are up against Satan, we are up against our flesh, right, which are all monsters, okay? We're fallen creatures, man. Listen, if we weren't fallen creatures, dude, and we weren't going to screw up, Jesus would never have had to come. okay? But he did, and he died on the cross for us so we can literally go to him, so the Holy Spirit's in us, so we can literally say, you know what, Lord, I screwed up today. Will you forgive me? I'm sorry. Tomorrow is a new day. Dude, it's a new day, man, but you have to repent, and you have to say, you know what, not on my strength. I'm not doing this because I want to feel good about myself. I want to do this because this is what the Word of God says, because I want to repent, and I want to say, Lord, help me get better. Dude, you don't get better in business by like just instantly overnight.
Through practice.
Through practice, man, and you're going to make so many mistakes. And Christians, dude, we make mistakes, man. I screw up all the time.
There isn't one human being that doesn't.
Yes.
Christian or not, we all make mistakes.
Dude.
No one can. Mother Teresa made mistakes, man. No one can say. I mean, some people might not like hearing that, but
No, it's true.
Mother Teresa made mistakes, man.
No, yeah,
I would
it's
argue
true.
even Jesus made a couple mistakes.
I'm sure he made mistakes. He didn't sin. Like Christians don't believe he was tempted in every way.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure.
you're right.
You keep in mind, he was still like a man, right? So in a manly form. So he was still had issues. Yeah, but not perfect, like in terms of.
I don't know. You know, a lot of people would argue that fact. So the thing is, you know what?
Yeah, I think perfect is relative.
My thing for me is, and I'm not perfect either, man. I make mistakes every day, and when I do, I'm pretty aware of it. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to realize, like, hey, what I just did was wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but like I have that moral compass that pulls me on the right path. That says, hey, listen, like that wasn't right. Yeah. Make that right. And I have an obligation. Like I don't feel good. I don't feel whole until I clear that slate.
Yeah.
Dude, we live in a world, though. It's funny you mentioned homosexuality. We live in a world where, like, I have a friend who's transgender, who's a preacher. A transgender preacher, bro. In 2022,
Okay.
we've got, and this is a friend I worked with when I got out of prison. I worked with her at the time, and Amber was kind of shy, standoffish, didn't really talk to anyone. No one wanted to speak to her. So I just went and pulled up a chair and sat next to her and talked to her. And we became friends. I started being her barber, started cutting her hair.
Cool.
All of a sudden, she changed her name to Elijah.
Okay.
And she is an ordained minister. Well, he is an ordained minister. So it's like you, and you know these people, like it's no different than like someone being born with like a cleft lip or a club foot.
Okay.
There's a chromosome. There's something that happens
wrong. Yeah.
where, you know, we can say it was something wrong, but if everything is by design and God created it, then did God create it that way for a reason?
You have to keep in mind,
is it by design?
There's a reason, right, we're on earth and not heaven. If that was the case and it was perfect,
Yeah, we'd be
right?
just born right into heaven.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
But you have to keep in mind.
Lucifer challenged. He was God's right hand man.
Right.
Challenged God, and God said,
You have to keep
And
in
him
mind,
and all the
dude,
fallen angels came to earth.
we're still in a fallen world, man. And like
Right.
the prince of this world is Satan, right? There's a reason why there's going to be a big battle. There's a reason why there is heaven. There's a reason why we have to make a choice, right? While we're here now. We can't make this choice when it's late, when it's too late.
Well, the Catholics believe you can.
Well, you can't.
Purgatory.
I don't believe that. So,
You're right.
So, dude, here's the thing. With that logic of saying that people are born right perfect, right? Dude, you're not accounting for Satan, right? You're not accounting the flesh, right? You're not accounting for the world,
Temptation,
dude,
right.
all the issues and the environmental problems, and
True.
dude, there's a lot to account for. Here's the only thing that we can control, right? I don't know what.
Ourselves.
Like, this is like in business too. I think I was telling you this, like 2 weeks ago. With COVID going on, with hurricanes going on, with fires going on, with people getting cancer and passing away, and people, you losing business deals and losing money, and all these problems and issues. Okay, now, listen, I can't control 90% of that stuff. Right? I can't control it, right? But what I can control is what I do and how I handle. And that, listen, despite COVID, despite all the situations going on, dude, my goal and my vision is still right there. It's there. It isn't moving, dude.
Right.
Like, we still got to go there.
That's
okay,
right.
It's just like, a few more bullets we got to dodge now, right? Like, but yeah, I went
But you
off.
keep on going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive what you've accomplished.
Yeah, it's funny that we started with religion because before I came here, my dad, he doesn't know the exact details. He's older, so going into the details of everything I do, it's a lot. So I just say, we're doing this little video thing. And
My dad's the same way,
yeah,
especially the older he gets.
yeah. And so I told him that on the phone. That was this morning. We were talking about something. And then so before he left, he goes, all right, well, let me pray. And no, first what he did was we hung up, and then he called me back. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, Dad. And he goes, hey, is it raining? And there's a hurricane right now. And I go, yes. And then he goes, okay, well, let me pray for you really quick. And my dad, he's a long prayer.
Yeah.
Like, you're the person sneaking your eyes open, okay? Like, I'm sorry. And so he starts, and it was literally that I build the right relationships, and I speak to the right people at the right time, and I say the right things, because I have a problem of saying things that they come out of my mouth, and I can't, pull them back.
Yeah.
And
Verbal diarrhea.
yeah, dude.
I've always had that problem.
Dude, it's a problem, man. It's regret. Regret, dude. I read this somewhere. Regret is a credit card bill you can never pay back.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Regret is a credit card bill you can never pay back.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you say something stupid. You can't take it back.
No, you can't. You can make it right. You can make up for it, though.
You can pay the bill, Exactly.
Interest.
Exactly.
It just keeps on compounding. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
But it's funny that we started on religion. That was just ironic.
It makes me kind of feel bad because I need to have a better relationship with my dad. Every time I talk to him, it's the same. He's getting older and getting Alzheimer's, and he's starting to forget things. And he spends half of his day in the Bible, and he spends the other half of his day watching Fox News. Yeah. And so it's like, Jesus, Donald Trump. Jesus, Donald Trump.
My dad too.
So it's like, you can only talk so much about
growing up, was
orange
there contention between you two?
Was
there
with
contention between you two growing up?
No. He was a good dad. He worked in a factory. He never really cared. He never had any ambitions to do anything beyond provide for the family. Mm-hmm. He trusted God to provide for the family. Mm-hmm. But we always had a roof over our head. He always treated my mother with respect. Yeah. He never yelled, never. He was strict. I remember one time I fell asleep in church, and he twisted my ear.
Oh, man.
And he told me if I did it again, he was going to take me to the back. Well, I dozed off again. He took me to the back of the church and pulled my pants down, took his belt off, and belted me in front of everyone.
Oh, wow. Seriously.
So, but do I resent him for that? No, I don't. I think he thought he was, let me rephrase. It wasn't in front of everyone. It was in the back of the church.
Well, yeah.
Everyone's paying attention to the church service.
Yeah. Until you're screaming, "Oh, Daddy! No, no!"
We went to a church in the middle of the woods called Pleasant Hill, and it was a good church. Growing up, the pastor David Tipton, he was a really good pastor. My parents were in a gospel bluegrass group called Strings of Praise, and they did Bible study multiple days a week. They did competitions.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know that exists, but you can actually where they'll say the verse and you have to call it out, or they'll say the scripture and you have to say it out. So
cool.
So it's all memorization of the entire Bible. And I remember they would put a baby gate up to the living room and dining room, me and my sister, to keep the kids out, And we'd always be standing there watching them. They'd all be sitting in a circle and studying the Bible and learning. And so as a biblical family, my family was pretty close. And I think that the Bible has a framework for how to handle the household. Yeah. And everyone in my life that I witness that's living by that framework or within that framework is successful. Their family is healthy and happy and loving. Yeah. Like my friend Brandon, for example. At 5 o'clock, he shuts off. He goes home. He's with his family. It's kind of interesting because in the agrarian age, when the pre-industrialism, when the family unit was together.
Yeah.
The father ate all 3 meals with the wife and children. The children need that they need both the maternal and paternal. They
Right, for
need
sure.
they need that fatherly figure in their life. Well, industrialism came to the United States and was like, it's time for the men to go to the factories.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because they can make more money doing that than making a quarter a day working on a farm.
Mm.
So then the men went off to the factories, and our purpose became providing financially for the family. So then women started seeing our value as like just the financial providers, and our actual value was diminished.
And what would you say our actual value is in a relationship? Like,
Oh, well,
what would you say like the man's responsibility, or let's say value is? Like,
well, it depends on
I'm curious.
my personal opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
So I believe from my experience, until I was about 13, 12 years old, maybe 12 or 13, my family was a biblical family.
Mm-hmm.
And they lived by that biblical definition,
Yeah.
meaning my father was the head of the household.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that it's like, you'll do what I say. That's
Right.
crazy. What that means is that ultimately there has to be a means of conflict resolution.
Right.
And there has to be some kind of hierarchy.
Yeah, yeah.
And the Bible lays it out very clearly what that
Mm-hmm.
hierarchy is. And if you follow it, and everyone in the family agrees to that, like they agree,
Yeah.
like this is what God said we're supposed to do with our lives, and this is how we're supposed to
Mm-hmm.
live by our lives. This is our code. Then, to answer your question, the father is just as nurturing as the mother. Is just as supportive and just as loving and kind and caring. You know, it's turned. I think it turned in the industrial era. It kind of turned into like the father's like the harsh, like the one that disciplines, the one that takes the
Yeah.
belt off and whips the kid.
I think it's
and the
still-
mother's the one that caresses and loves, and it doesn't have to be like that.
I think it's like with discipline, it's a lot harder. Men, we see the logic in it, right, with discipline and why it's needed if we don't want to do it. Before growing up, all the way until I was kicked out at 17, I got butt whoopings. You know, at about 13, okay, is when I started fighting back. But
Yeah.
my dad, you know, my dad's 6'3".
I'll
and
take
he
my
was
belt off.
No, for real. So here's what my dad did, okay? My dad would have this huge mirror, right, in his room, and at the top of this mirror, he would have, it was on top of his dresser, he would have like 5 belts laying over the top. And he would, you know, I would get in trouble in school, I would rub my mouth, I would do this, I had lots of issues. And I would literally, you know, start crying on the way home because I knew it. He'd pick me up from school, I knew that I'm getting my butt whooped. And so he brings me into his room, he sits on the bed, same routine every single time, and he tells me, you know, what I did wrong and why, and he's talking to me very level-headed, and he would always end the statement with, "This hurts me more than it hurts you." And then this is when I would really lose it because logically to me, no, it doesn't, okay? Like, this hurts me more. And from there, he would take off his belt, tell me to bend over, I would say, "No, thank you," and maybe saying a few other ways of saying that. And so he would say, "Okay," and I'm sure like he had this number in his head, maybe 5 or something, but you know, as you run your mouth, I'm sure his number goes up. So he would start whooping, and so he would just start going crazy. I would just eventually latch on to the belt, okay? I would latch on, and he would be like, "Okay." He would let go, and he would go and grab another one, okay? And then he would go again, and until all 5 belts were done. And, oh, you know, my dad would lock the door because my sisters would do. I'd be like, I was screaming, "No, Daddy, no, call 911!" Like, dude, I would lose it, right? And my dad at that point, you know, I was fighting back, right? I was really fighting back. So, like, for me at that age, I was really fighting back. But my dad was very wise. And so he had, like, the wisdom at that point to say, like, one, explain to me what I did wrong. Explain to me that just like in life, when you're out of the home, there's this cause and effect. And here's the thing. My sisters, my 4 older, right? They all have kids. They do not have the wisdom, or maybe it's the wisdom, or it's the maybe it's the will. I don't know what it is, to really punish their kids in that manner, right? Like, or provide consequences, I should say.
Right.
And so my dad, I thank you, Jesus, for him doing that. I hated him, dude. All the way up until 17, I had a really bad relationship from my dad, right? Like, I was bad. Don't put the I hated him part in there. Okay? I had a bad relationship with my dad. And up until I got kicked out at 17, and then I had to get a job, right? So I ended up getting my GED, which a lot of people don't know this. They think, wow, you know how many people have ever asked me if I went to college? This tells you how important college is, by the way. Okay?
Oh, you ain't got to tell me how important college is.
Well, people, they only twice in my entire life, people have asked me, have I went to college? Only twice, dude. Twice. I just can't believe it. So I ended up getting my GED, and literally between every single, dude, I was like a DF student, right? I would literally do everything but the schoolwork, right? My favorite class was lunch, right? It was crazy. So I would, like, dude.
My favorite class was lunch.
Dude, it was bad,
I love
man.
it. I can empathize.
Dude, I get kicked out, get my GED. I'm praying between every question.
I hated school.
Every question on that GED. But anyways, one thing that I believe with, dang it, come on.
It's okay.
It should have been on mute.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
One
Hey.
thing.
Do you want to set that down for a second? You can handle that. Grab the food.
No, I'm
It's
just
at the
gonna
door.
mute it. One thing.
Keep that thought. I mean, it's still framed right? So we can continue? Okay, yeah.
One thing that, so I've been, and I don't mind being transparent about all my issues and weird things. So, and we'll go into more about sacrifices being a serial entrepreneur. And for me, one of them is not having a relationship with a woman until I was 27 years old. And so, yeah.
27.
27.
Not even a relationship.
No relationship. You know, I've been on like one or two
What
dates.
Okay, but
here
what
and
about
there.
like female interaction?
Yeah, like, you know, as much as you can in the community
Without
and
a
things that you do.
relationship.
But yeah, but it never I was always so busy focusing on work,
Laser
right?
focused on work.
Like-
Ever since I've known you, it's been like work,
Yeah, dude.
work.
Like, dude, I'm
like a
literally
machine.
living in a foreign country, okay? And I don't need to even know the language of the country, right? I really don't. I've been there a year. I know like 5 words. I don't need to know
Yeah,
the
right.
language
Yeah, we
because
try to
I'm
learn
so focused in
You
the
ever
business.
download
and
like an
focusing.
app to try to like help learn it, like Babbel or something?
No, nothing. I really don't care because for me
Arabic,
it doesn't.
They speak Arabic, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a great language to learn.
What purpose does it solve? Right? It doesn't solve a
I
purpose.
mean, you
It
look
doesn't-
Arabic.
Yeah. You look a lot of things. Like an asshole. I'm sorry. That's funny. Come on. That's funny.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, but you haven't learned the language because you don't need to.
No, I mean I don't.
But you're kind of in a bubble there too. I mean, you've got your office building. You've got Saeed,
Yeah.
Rockstar, CTO,
Yeah.
and you've got a team now
Yeah.
of developers there. You're hiring other people in Morocco too, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Morocco, they have a lack of a mindset that I've coming to a realization of.
Yeah, welcome to offshoring, man.
Morocco, though, there's, you know, my girlfriend, she says this thing. She goes, you know, one thing why and she's Moroccan, okay, and so she says this about Moroccan. She goes, you know, normally they just look dumb, okay, they just look at them, they just look dumb, and the thing is, they don't really what it is. It's not dumb. It's just a lack of ambition, and this is very much shown in their work. And so if you say like I need a minimum of 40 hours and you're on salary and there's incentives to do more, okay, they will not worry about the incentives. They don't.
India's
very
the
content.
same way.
Dude.
It's the same exact way.
Well, that's the difference between India. There's a reason, dude. I could have focused on India for
But
a
you
long
went to
time.
Philippines.
I went to the Philippines, and here's why. Because in India, when they say yes, it's yes, I hear you. In the Philippines, when they say yes, it's yes, I understand you. And I need somebody to understand what I'm saying, not just hear me.
Dude, that is big. That is really big. You know, it's so crazy. You know, my team's in India.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do everything I can to incentivize and motivate my team to, to dangle that carrot, to give them some reason or ambition, some promise of a better tomorrow if they're willing to earn it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. They don't care.
Because, dude, the only person who can appreciate the vision, see the vision.
Roshan sees it.
Dude, but he's equity. Right?
He believes it. Like, that's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Jason Fied, from 37 Signals, Base Camp, they're doing $100 million a year, man. That's significant.
It's good.
And he has 13 employees, or at least at the time of writing that book 10 years ago he did. And he said very specifically, but that means I have 13 people on my staff that are actually running the show.
Mm-hmm.
And they're equitable team members. You know what I mean? And I give them a reason to not want to look elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's procurement. Staffing is very difficult. Like, it's very hard to find the right talent and get people that are going to care as much about your vision and your idea and your product and your customers as you do.
Here's what you do. You don't focus on the talent, okay? So I stopped focusing on the talent a long time ago. And this is really hard when you're trying to be aggressive in growing a company, because you want people that are talented in certain areas that you're hiring them for, so they can be efficient, so they can train people, and you can grow a company. But I needed to create this culture, and I needed to be more wise about it. So I put talent to the side, and I said, okay, hey, instead of looking at talent, let me look at the person, okay? So when I do an interview, the majority of my questions are, tell me about yourself, okay? Tell me about your family, okay? Tell me, what did you do in the past, right? On your free time, right? I wanted to know this person, and I wanted them to know me. So I wanted to connect first on a personal level,
right?
And then I wanted to see, okay, where are their skill sets? How are they thinking? And is the way that they think going to work well with how we think and how I would like everybody to think?
It's got to fit the culture.
It has to fit the culture. It's the mindset, right?
I agree.
So one, I'm looking at the person, right? And then two, I'm looking at the mindset. Now, in regards to talent, they wouldn't be applying for that job if they didn't have some type of rudimentary understanding of the job just to apply in the first place.
Right.
So my philosophy on this is, listen, hard work beats talent any day of the week.
I agree.
So if they're willing, if they have the right mindset, right, that means that they're willing to work hard. Willing to work hard, dude, their talent is going to come.
That's the hard thing, though.
No, dude,
because there's people, for example, in India. There's people and I'm guessing Morocco is very similar.
Mm-hmm.
There's people in India for $3,000 a month right now, or less,
yeah.
for $1,500 a month right now. I can get a senior code igniter expert with 15 years of experience, and he or she is going to be very proficient at what they do.
Yeah.
But your people are only ever going to be as good as the systems and processes and the company and the framework that you created for them.
But this is now we're talking like your shit. So like you as the boss have to have your shit together, right? To really make sure that their hard work is being utilized, to nurture it into a talent that you can utilize and that they're happy, right?
Here's the question though.
You have to handle your shit. Like,
define hard work. Is it I show up at 10 a.m. or is it I show up at 9 a.m. and I leave at 5 p.m.?
Dude, that's the only thing you can guarantee, because what you're doing is there's an exchange. When they come to on board, there's an agreement that you're making and a promise. And here's the only promise that you can make your employee. Here's the only promise. If you show up for work, I'm going to pay you.
Yeah.
Okay? You literally.
Well, you can also promise if you go above and beyond and you help us reach these milestones faster, I'm going to pay you more.
Yeah, but it's relative, it's subjective, the target moves, the business is different, the business pivots, the relationships, the involvement, what does that mean? Like that's so like nuanced. The only thing...
Because they can't grasp it.
They can't grasp it, right? And listen, if they could, they would be an entrepreneur, they would be a business owner, right?
That's right.
Like if they really could, okay, you have to understand that they can't. The majority of people cannot. Not in the beginning. So
incentives and perks and stuff like that, it works in Western civilization though. Here in the United States, it would work very well.
I think if you're a large company and you have your processes and systems and key metrics that you're looking for, or performance indicators down really, really, really well,
you give people something to work towards, and you make it reasonable, but make it above and beyond the normal duty.
Give me an example, like what you would do.
Okay, for example, we do everything in 2 week sprints,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're all part of a larger, project we have out in Jira, and
for example, in the past we've incentivized if you complete this sprint ahead of schedule, by at least 3 days, for example. If you complete it ahead of schedule, then everybody gets $100 bonus on their next paycheck. Well, $100 in India is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But
I've learned that they don't care about that.
Yeah.
So I've upped it. I've tried upping the number. Still don't care. They won't work any more hours. They won't go above and beyond. They won't be up at 9 o'clock at night, still sitting there at their computer trying to go. They don't care. So if you're gonna staff a company in India,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe this applies elsewhere as well.
Yeah.
But maybe it applies here too. But I think it goes back to what you're saying. You can't expect your employees to care as much about your product if your team is.
It comes, man. It comes. But here's the thing: there's two ways to really motivate employees. You have fear, you have faith. And I genuinely believe this. I think that dangling the carrot can work in certain circumstances
for certain people,
and it's used in a very wise way. Now, I would not overuse it. I may use that maybe once a year, okay, when there's something on the line and they know it, so that when there's a dangling carrot, out of respect, they know just because that I'm dangling this carrot that, okay, this is important, okay? But there's basically two ways to motivate: faith or fear. Now, I've tried fear when I first started, and sometimes I get very angry or frustrated, and that naturally comes out, and I'm not proud of that. But fear doesn't work because it builds resentment, and because then it's this typical thing of now you have, your family, your employees, your people talking crap about you to their spouse, right?
It's the opposite of creating a culture.
Dude,
yeah.
It festers, man. It's a cancer you're literally starting, and it's extremely unwise. So then you have faith. So what does that mean for how can you motivate someone by faith? So what I do is, and what we do in our company is, we explain the vision, right, on a consistent basis.
From what I've seen you doing from the outside looking in, I would say it's lead by example. When you're the hardest working person on your team, when people know this dude goes hard, really fucking hard, and they see that every single day, your employees want to emulate your behavior. It's just like your children emulate their parents' behavior. Mm-hmm. Your employees over time, they respect you because they see how hard you go, and they want to be more like you. They see the result of your actions, and so then they want to emulate you naturally. It's human nature. The problem, for me being in the United States and having most of our team in India, is my team. They see and respect and and all of that, but they're not working with me every day. They're working with someone who's more passive and more, their culture is more kind of like Morocco, more quiet. Like from the outside looking in, you just look at them on the street, they might look dumb to you.
Now, do you hire mostly?
They're not stupid though.
Is most of your team men or female?
It's a mix.
Okay, so the majority of us.
The women care more about the company and more about the product than. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but
no, it's true.
It seems like they care more.
It's true.
And also that we retain them, with the exception of one left without notice. That's another thing that's kind of cool about hiring in India is there's a 2-month notice period, but it's okay, a big bank comes and offers them 3 times what you're paying them. Are they going to respect your notice period?
I can tell you this. I can tell you any employee in my company right now, employee, not contractors, employee. If a competitor came and offered them 3 times more money,
it's on no.
Every one of them, I can promise you, I'll put my life on it. They will say no.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, particularly with women, even with men, it's not as clear. But with women, you have to show appreciation, which I'm really, really, really bad at doing. But I have to say, wow, this is good work. Thank you for taking the initiative. Thank you for doing this. Keep it up. Here's the thing, for women, dude, I know this sounds nuts, but if you show appreciation, that's more valuable than giving them more money. Right? It really is. And, there's a time and place. The money has to make sense. And to me, it's really hard to, especially because we're not like this massive company. There isn't like this set of standards, industry specifics we're following. We're all over the world. We're doing all sorts of weird stuff. So for me, like our pay scale is based on internal numbers. Okay, so internally, this is where we're at. This is what we can afford. You're providing this value. It's internal numbers. Going back to the faith thing, you have to build a relationship, like literally a one-on-one relationship. You have to know what your employee spouse's names are. I know this is really dumb.
Yeah.
But dude, for me, it's more like customer retention. You got to retain these people, or employee retention.
It's people like your family is your family, and you can't change that. So if you make your employees part of your family, if they see you as family, they're not going to want to change that. Your family. So, it's I agree with you. It's and that's something I'm definitely trying to do. It's
hard because we're not wired that way. Dude, men
tough.
aren't wired that way to be emotionally involved, and sometimes it's hard, right? So, dude, my whole team I love. Like, I will die for. If it came up to it, like if they had cancer or there was an issue and I needed to fly to another country, there's no question. But, like, for example, Fied, CTO, best friend, managing partner, he is Moroccan, didn't start learning how to type until he was 25 years old, okay?
Wait, what?
So he didn't get his first computer till he was
What?
25 years old, didn't start learning how to type till he was 25. By the time I met him, didn't know any English.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
Wow.
didn't know how to code.
And he's really smart.
He went to school, okay? He's gonna hate that I'm telling people this, okay? He went to school to a bakery for baking, to cooking cakes.
No way.
Yeah, I like how I had to
Moroccan
explain
bakery.
that. Yeah, like we literally drive past it sometimes. He's like, yeah, that's where I went to school. And I remember the first time he told me, he never remembered not telling me. So he just said, yeah, this is where I went to school. I'm like, wait, what? One, you went to school, okay? And then two, like, what did you study? And he goes, baking. I'm like baking? And yeah.
Does he still bake?
No, heck no. He has a wife. Okay, no. That's messed up. No, dude, no.
Did she go to baking school too? Did he meet her in baking
She's
school?
an amazing cook. She's an amazing cook.
That's
but
great.
Dude, Fied, okay, perfect example. And Fied, he tells me, he says, Michael, like, generally people, my persona is Michael doesn't have patience. Okay, Michael, you don't have patience. And I disagree with this, but that's okay. And Fied goes,
I can see how people could see that.
Look, here's
you
my
do have
problem,
patience,
dude.
though. You do, but I could see from the outside looking in, like.
All right, shut up. Let me talk. Now, no,
you have very high expectations, but you have high expectations of yourself too. So like when you set the bar pretty high for yourself, it's natural for you to, as an entrepreneur, like you're naturally going to set it pretty high for other people.
Dude, you know what I hate? I hate number one pet peeve. Okay, I hate dealing with the same problems. Okay. Listen, I love problems, right? Dude, we're entrepreneurs. We're business owners.
That's what we do. We solve problems.
solve problems. That's how we make money.
Yeah.
The problem is, I hate dealing with yesterday's problems, okay? So give me new problems, okay? But if I got to deal with the same problem I just dealt with yesterday, we have a problem.
Oh, man, I just got goosebumps. Dude. I love that. Man.
Yeah, I get mad just
I
thinking
felt
about
that.
it. Okay?
Well, it's kind of like, it goes back to what we were talking about before we started talking about this. Like, we all mess up every day. We all have problems every day, but like, let it die today.
Exactly.
Tomorrow's a new day.
Exactly.
So, it's wild, man.
The thing is, like, the longer the video on YouTube is, the better for monetization.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's the more ads they can serve on the video. Mm-hmm. But you got to keep people engaged throughout the whole process, and that's why it's good to not just sit there in one place the whole time. Yeah. It's better to be more engaging and like go out and about and like mix it up, have footage driving around in the car talking, have footage like at Topgolf or doing whatever.
I guess you could take like the footage here but use the audio from something else we've said.
Yeah.
Right? Like that.
Oh yeah, plus B-roll, you can do all kinds of stuff, you know what I mean? Like like you said earlier, like we could literally just race. We could have a foot race and see who wins. With the wet ground though, it sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be funny.
Well, dress shoes, yeah. Don't
Comedic
matter.
value. Especially if I trip you.
Oh, dude, yeah, that would be great. Then a run turns into a fight, okay? I remember once I was in high school, dude, and this kid tripped me, and he was taller than me, big surprise, and I swing, and all he did was like this, just went back an inch, and I completely missed.
Oh, you missed him?
I missed him.
Oh, no.
It was so bad.
That's the worst, too, when you put all that energy into a swing and it doesn't connect.
Oh, 100%. It was so bad, dude.
Oh, man.
So
I don't like fighting, man. I'm at a point in my life where I do not want to fight. I used to be crazy. I used to be nuts.
Yeah.
Someone say something stupid to me, I'd hit them.
You know what did it for me? It's when people said stupid shit. It wasn't really to me. It was just when you said something stupid. It fucking bothered me. But now, that's no problem.
Yeah. It's part of growing up. Just life experience.
Dude, you know what I'm realizing, man? I'm realizing that I am starting to feel old. Like, how funny is that? Like,
Well, how old are you?
28.
28.
I know, my face.
Yeah.
I'm young as fuck.
That's
but,
insane, dude.
dude,
That's awesome. I was in prison at 28. I got locked up at 27. 27 years old.
fuck, man, I couldn't imagine.
And I was in there. I got out at 34. I'm 36 now.
Was there some peace though, knowing like that you were young? You know, people go to prison when they're in their 40s, right, 50s, or knowing that like you're.
There's no good time to go to prison. The way I saw it was like, I mean, deep down I knew it was like some of the best years of my life, like 27 to 34. Like, I should be out traveling, seeing the world, building business, building relationships.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff I would have rather been doing, but on the same token, I can't say I regret. I mean, I regret the actions that led up to that, but I don't regret going to prison. Like, I actually got something meaningful out of it. So, one was I learned the important lesson of patience.
Yeah.
You have to be extremely patient in prison.
How do you think, like, now, if you didn't understand patience the way you did, how do you think that would affect how you're handling business and people? And
I'd be too sporadic, and I would jump the gun in too many instances. I would be less understanding. There's many instances where I'm a lot more understanding now and reasonable. Like when someone falls short, or when someone doesn't get something done within a certain time frame, or when something isn't 100% on par, I'm more reasonable and I'm more understanding about it. Like I try to give them the understanding they need. I try to help them, and I think like a true leader leads by example. And at 27, I can honestly say you're in a much better position and a mindset than I was at 27. At 27, if someone would have missed the deadline or fallen short or something, I'd have probably fired him.
Dude, you know what it is for me, man? Like, I'm not like this big Christian or nothing, right? Like, dude, my belief is like evidence for me. Like how I am and where I'm at.
Is most of your staff Christian in the Philippines?
Half, all in the Philippines, yeah.
Yeah. They're Orthodox, right? Methodist?
Half are Methodist, I would say 40% Methodist, and then remaining Catholic.
Do you think that has an impact? Do you think their religion has an impact on their work ethic?
100%. Because keep in mind, dude, Christianity is a religion by faith. Okay, meaning you have to and you don't. Even in like if you name a Christian country, let's say we come in and we say, I don't know, Europe. I mean, what is a Christian country? You can say Muslim countries all day, but the most Christian country.
A lot of Europe is Muslim now too.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, still predominantly Christian, but the thing is with Christianity, you have to make this decision. Each person has to make a decision on their own, and you generally 9 out of 10 times will do that out of a weakness or a desperation for can't, or not wanting, or needing Jesus, right? Not wanting to do it on your own, or you can't do it on your own, but you need Jesus. And so you say, okay, well, let's see if this is true, and you start exploring, and you come to it on your own terms. Where from my experience, Muslims, it's an expectation. You don't really have a choice. And so their faith is a faith by works, where like it just is. It's just you work and you do these things, and you get down on your knees at a certain time of the day, and you do this and you do this and you do this and you do this. Where with Christians, there's more of a reasoning behind it.
Right.
But with me, dude, the Bible was just a book, right? It was never. Now, dude, for me, it's gold.
You know the history?
Of the Bible?
Yeah.
Enough. Not
Constantine, the emperor, held a quorum, held what was called the Council of Nicaea in around 300 AD. Brought all of the scholarly, all of the anybody of any notoriety at that time, brought them together. There was like 150 people in the quorum, and they decided which books were going to make it into the Bible as we know it today.
I didn't know that.
Prior, now, like 40 BC, thank you, 40 BC, or maybe it's like 60 BC, 64 BC, before Christ, the Romans, the emperor at the time, destroyed the library in the city of Alexandria. So right before leading up to the evidence of Christ, the Romans destroyed the greatest collection of scrolls on earth. They destroyed it. That's why a lot of the scrolls and the tablets and stuff that we found fragments of, like they were in fragments, they were in pieces. But there's tons of proof in the Vatican. There's tons of evidence, Of course, not many people have actually gotten access to the archives. But the thing is there is archaeological proof of a lot of things that the Bible accounts for. And it's just like the science community has a different name for it. Like, for example, the fallen angels, the Bible would call them the Nephilim. Okay. The science community would call them the Anunnaki. And even the Egyptians in the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, there's depictions of like spacecrafts coming to Earth and like helicopters and like weird like stuff, like people couldn't make sense of it. And this is stuff thousands of years ago, So either another entity came from somewhere else to here, or entities, plural, or they had technology that we are unaware of. But then we have archaeological proof of the elongated skulls and the giants. We have proof of it. They have the skeletons. So it's like, you know what I mean? That's what the Bible says very specifically, and it's all dated as well. Like it's dated to that time frame. So like when you look at the evidence, I think there's overwhelming proof. There's enough proof that we know for a fact Christ existed.
Well, here's the thing. If I say if there's just enough proof to say that there is a higher being, right? Let's just say that, and then say, okay, well then what does that mean? And then you keep building off that, dude. My faith, man, my business, and where we're at, dude. It's not me, dude. I have a GED, man. I should be dead. I should be in prison. I should have.
Should be a lot of
real
things,
problems,
but
dude.
Look at the most successful people on earth.
Yeah.
How many of them have college degrees?
Yeah,
Some of them have honorary doctorates, but how many of them actually have college degrees?
I mean, come on, that's
not
funny,
a college
right?
degree, bro.
No, dude. It's basically
You paid
because
for
you're famous.
They give you an honorary degree.
An honorary. If you think about this for a minute, dude.
I know what it means.
It's fucking funny.
Yeah. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of Harvard, right?
I mean, it's in all respect, and they should get it, and I'm sure it's even more prestigious because I'd rather be Mark Zuckerberg than getting a doctorate degree, and he's done
But Mark Zuckerberg got his doctorate's degree.
No, he dropped out.
Yeah, he got an honorary doctorate degree. Yeah,
But
he still got the cap and gown, walked across the stage and collected his degree. I mean, I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah. I wonder what an honorary, why don't they give me an honorary, I don't know. I'm not Mark Zuckerberg.
A
bachelor's degree?
$1 million. I don't know.
They really could buy it, you think?
I mean, not legally. You can't be I'm buying my diploma. I mean, you can buy diplomas.
I
But
know. Did you know I was thinking about this? This is crazy. So this was out a long time ago. But basically, I was thinking about starting like a university offshore in like Croatia. Not a real university, a website, but looked like one. And basically having like selling diplomas and shit from the university, but I can get an EDU domain name. I can control everything. They can call, verify. I can do transcripts.
would the government of Croatia give you an EDU domain
No,
name?
I would like get it unethically, like from somewhere else.
Can you do that?
Mm-hmm.
An EDU can be acquired?
Not as easy as saying it can be acquired. It's finessing, but yeah, it's doable. I can do it.
You can grease some palms in the right country and get it.
Yeah. It's doable. Through ICANN, yeah. It's doable.
You just gave me a million ideas, dude.
Yeah, dude, I know. Trust me.
It's terrible. Why am I thinking like that?
I know. I won't ever do nothing, but it is like.
That Gulf Coast steak and shrimp looks really good. I don't know, and the thing is, like, you could probably start an online university in another country and become accredited by that country's terms. It'd be a lot easier than it would here, I'm sure.
You know what pisses me off now is
Academia is pretty.
Dude, I believe I can do anything. Right? I know this sounds like cocky, but
Thank you.
fuck, man. Now my problem is just staying focused. Like, and this is my biggest struggle. And this is, I feel like if me and Saeed, we can overcome this of staying focused, figuring that out, we have it. But, you know, dude, you see all the companies I start and jump and all this stuff I'm involved in?
That's a lot.
Dude, it's a lot, man. You know,
A
like
lot.
TrueNeb, you heard of TrueNeb? Like my portable nebulizer I'm selling?
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Are they selling?
Dude, you wanna know what we did?
They sell it on Amazon?
We created AI content, okay? And we're basically on nebulizers using this Google thing. And we wrote over 600,000 words of like blog articles. Dude, we're getting over 2,500 unique visitors a day. Unique visitors.
From AI generated content?
Dude.
So back to webdev.com. Why are you so passionate about websites?
Because I believe websites can change the world, dude. Like, I know it sounds like so cliche to say that your business, your niche can change the world. Okay, so I really genuinely believe, dude, that websites is the new electricity. So you look at what electricity has done to society, right? To business, how we interact, right? Now with websites, I mean, you use, for example, Google, right? Let's consider that a website, right? Facebook. Here's the thing. For me to have the biggest impact, I've learned that I can impact people and change lives through helping to grow their companies. And my medium that's been presented to me and that I've gravitated towards is websites. Dude, it's so crazy how like split testing the nuances in a website can change everything for a business. And when we have this fishing charter out of Texas. His name is Philip, and he's 65 years old. He had us do his site, and awesome guy, godly man. And he called me like 3 weeks ago, and he goes, Michael, turn off our website. Turn it off. It's getting too much work. Okay? Yeah.
Buy another boat. Hire another captain, man.
He was not expecting it. And we're not doing, remember, no marketing, dude. It's completely organic. And he goes, Michael, this has changed my life. Okay? Dude, and I've heard this over and over and over. We could create huge growth opportunities for businesses through their websites. What other medium in a business can you do that with? Like the opportunity and
I love it.
The potential of a website is infinite. It's not finite, it is infinite. Okay, we are living in a day and age where a website can provide you infinite growth opportunity. Dude, this means opportunity in hiring people and growing businesses and contributing on a grander scale. Dude, it is fucking cool. And the more that becomes a reality and we see that, the more that we are committed, right? And the more that we are driven. Dude, it is cool. And with us, because we have like a lot of high-end enterprise level clients, they give us a lot of flexibility and freedom to try stuff. So this means we can create fancy solutions or technologies to provide solutions that don't exist in the marketplace, that makes people's lives easier, right? Which is really, really, really cool. That is like that makes me happy. It makes our team happy. And it provides real value, right? It's not like face value. And I want to run a company, and I want to found a company that provides value and that changes lives. And the medium for me is websites.
I love that. And of course, webdev.com is not the cheapest, but because you're taking, but the thing is like, you want a cheap website, or you get what you pay for in life. And Alex Ramosi actually said this best: when you like price yourself too low, you commoditize yourself, and it's just a price war to the bottom. But when you price yourself really, there's no strategic advantage of having the lowest price. But there's a huge strategic advantage in being one of the most expensive. You get the most income to be able to allocate towards the project. Therefore, the outcome of the project is going to be much greater. So your client satisfaction is going to be much higher. So retention is going to be much higher. Lifetime value is going to be much higher.
Absolutely.
Everything benefits. Your customer wins, you win, everybody wins. And like you said, for any lasting business relationship, or for any business relationship to actually last, everybody has to win.
Yeah, you have to look at for tech companies. With tech companies, like for example, you're let's use Contractor Plus or WebDev, both of us. There will be cheaper, more expensive solutions, or there'll be different spectrums. You have to keep in mind, with the cheapest solution, that doesn't give like yourself, right, the best shot of being the most successful as you can, because you're not giving the right opportunity or the right fuel to the company you're hiring to.
I think it actually gives you the worst shot.
The worst. That's why people are using Square. I'll shit on Square all day long, okay? Square looks, listen, if your business, okay, if $8 or $10 or $15 a month, if that makes sense to you, go and sign that up, okay? Go and do whatever you want to do on those things. But literally going with a company like mine or yours, where we're not the cheapest, okay? But it gives us room to be able to provide the best solution, okay, for them, so they can grow their company. This also allows us to do what we love doing, so they can do what they love doing.
Right.
Like, and that's
what people care about the most is the benefit or the result. A lot of times when they enter that, before they make that purchase decision, there's a lot of factors aside from that benefit or result that goes into making that decision.
Yeah.
But and that goes to to sales. When you know that you can give them the best possible result or outcome, you have an ethical obligation to convince them of that.
You do.
So, and when you have that conviction, you don't need sales rebuttals and all that other, because the conviction shines through. Like, dude, we've had a great conversation. One thing I would like you to kind of, to ask you and have you share, if you had any advice for future entrepreneurs, or for an up-and-coming entrepreneur, someone who has the idea, who has that drive, that ambition, who is where you were, or where I was, 10, 15 years ago, what would that advice be?
Yeah, super simple. Invest into people first. And if you are genuinely not willing to make somebody else rich, right, you're never going to be rich. Right? This is both on a monetary value, this is both on an emotional value, right? You have to invest into people, right? Provide value into people. And if you can do that, your life will change. Your business will change.
Thanks a lot for joining me today. Dude, it's been so good talking to you and finally meeting you in person. It's like long overdue.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like 10, 11, 12, I don't know, a long time.
Over a decade.
I know every time we talk on Zoom, though, it's like we talk for 4 hours.
Yeah, wow.
Like 5, sometimes 5. Like,
yeah.
we're like, where did time go? Oh shit, I got a bunch of work I got to do. So, anything else you want to add?
That's all, man. I appreciate you taking the time, and it was a great conversation.
All right, let's go see whose phone's the best.
All right, let's do it, man.